Hey guys, and welcome to the Star Wars Battlefront Rogue One Scarif DLC reveal. I'm Tim, aka Darkness429, joined by Paul Kelsland, all the way from Stockholm, Sweden.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah,
Hello.
Paul, why don't you tell the viewers who you are and what you do?
Sure. I'm a producer on Battlefront, so I work with the team back in Stockholm to bring this great DLC and this great content to everybody. My role on the team is pretty much to try to scope the vision for what we could build, and then work with the team to basically say, okay, cool, you guys are the creative ones, go figure out what's a really cool way to bring this thing to light, and let them kind of dig in the details and have fun with it.
Cool, so as a producer, that means you got to go in and look at Rogue One, some of the content for Rogue One before it actually came out, before some of the trailers even were revealed to the public. So how is that?
That was crazy. As a fan, it's great to kind of see that information firsthand, like early on, and be like, oh my God, look at all this stuff. I'm a Star Wars fan. I get to see all this way before anybody else does. But at the same time, it kind of spoils the movie for you a little bit. But in terms of working with Lucasfilm, we got some early discussions with them on what is Rogue One, what is some great stuff that we could use to create gameplay out of, and then a lot of back and forth with the team since then to figure out what's cool, how does this work, how does that work, how would we use this in a game setting versus how is it in a movie setting. There's a lot of challenging stuff, a lot of back and forth with Lucasfilm, but it's really rewarding at the end of the day.
So, I mean, we're all here to check out the brand new DLC, Rogue One Scarif. Paul, what are some of the things that we're going to be seeing today?
We've got a new mode for you called Infiltration.
Okay.
It is another 3-staged approach, similar to our Death Star DLC.
Right.
For us, we felt that was really an interesting way forward with a lot of our gameplay. Players are used to just a simple game mode with just one objective. You run in and you do your thing. This one, we'd like to tell a little bit more of a story as you play the multiplayer. So for us, it was kind of a labor of love, given with all the back and forth with Lucasfilm.
Yeah, sure.
But so in Infiltration, like I said, 3 stages. The first stage, you do start off in space.
Okay.
It is a quick jump through to try to get the Rebels have to get a U-wing through the shield gate. So randomly, a player will be selected to become a U-wing, and their goal is to just speed and kind of haul butt to try to get to the shield gate.
So you're mentioning the U-wing.
Yes.
So that's a new vehicle that's introduced in Battlefront. So why don't we talk a little bit about that and like what it does?
Sure. The U-wing in kind of Lucas fiction is more of a transport ship.
Okay.
So for us, for the players, they're going to be flying this thing, and it's more defensive based abilities. There's a lot of things that allow you to ward off damage. So there's a shield.
Okay.
There's a radar jammer. That way, players are trying to get through. Like I said, their job is really to get to the shield gate. It's not to try to get kills.
Right.
It's really to kind of get through the shield gate as fast as possible.
So you could say the strategy for the Rebels is to not really focus on really defending the U-wing, not trying to go for kills like you would in other game modes that are available.
Right, like a fighter squadron, you want kills. In the U-wing, it's get to the shield gate, and as your team, the Rebels really want to defend that guy.
So right now we're taking a look at the opening sequence for Infiltration. So this is the approach. So without really spoiling anything, is this kind of giving a narrative to what we might see in Rogue One? Is this kind of like, I mean, are they playing off each other, or is this kind of just an idea as to what DICE kind of envisions Rogue One to be?
We're definitely inspired by what's happening in the movie, so some of these things won't be exactly what you see in the movie. Again, we worked with Lucasfilm and we said what will make for interesting gameplay.
Sure.
But it's also giving people the context of the movie. So you can get that feeling that, man, I saw something similar in the movie.
Yeah.
This could be me doing this thing, right? It's really living out that fantasy.
Now this is something really cool, like the whole debris field.
Yeah.
That's right here in front of these Star Destroyers is really, really cool, especially when you're trying to like dogfight through them, because you can use it as a strategy, as kind of like cover. You can kind of swing around and kind of try to toy around with your opponent, try to get them to crash into some of the debris, which is really cool. So we have a U-wing that just spawned in. So I believe this is the first wave, so you'll get one U-wing that comes in.
Correct.
And look at that thing maneuver. It's very, very agile. So this guy, he's really going in for kills. He's going to try to kill some of these TIE fighters that are around here. But my objective really is to keep him safe.
Keep him alive,
and try to get him to the shield gate.
Exactly.
So we're looking right now at Scarif. So this is the planet Scarif.
That's the planet,
and a little bit of lore for people who might not know what Scarif is. This is the planet where I had to look this up yesterday because I wanted to make sure I got this all right. But Scarif is where they are actually building the Death Star. So this is where the Death Star is being built. The final pieces of the Death Star are being put together here on Scarif. And the entire planet is covered by the shield generator.
Yep.
And the only way that you can get through the shield is through the shield gate.
Yep.
So it's kind of a little hole in the wall.
Exactly.
So that's what you're trying to do there.
Yep, exactly. So players need to get through there. There's a fun little cinematic that plays that shows a little bit more of what that looks like.
So it looks like our first U-Wing. Actually, I get to
there
spawn
you go.
in
You
as
get
the
the
U-Wing.
U1.
Sweet. So there's multiple U-Wings that come. So after the first one, is it 2 that come in after the first one if that one's destroyed?
Yeah, you start off with 1,
okay,
and then we ramp it up to 2.
Right.
We'll max out at 3. We want players to get the chance to really get through this stage, but we kind of amp up that tension. Think of it more like the Rebels are kind of last ditching everything. If you get to 3, you really need to get through there.
Go for it.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think the round goes for like 10 minutes, so I need to be careful here.
Yeah, exactly.
But the U-Wing does have shields, it has speed boost, and it also has a jammer as well. So you literally have thrown everything at the U-Wing to try to give it the opportunity to get through the shield gate.
Exactly, yeah.
So we're going to try to maneuver through here. I'm going to try to use the Star Destroyers as cover.
Some cover, yeah.
It's also fun because it also has the ability to attack. It's not just.
It does, yeah.
It's not just like this defenseless ship that's trying to fly through.
Yeah.
But you really, if you're playing as the Rebels, you want to make sure that you're keeping the U-Wing safe. Unfortunately, I didn't have anyone there with me to kind of cover my butt.
So and that's a challenge, right? Like if you get out there way ahead of everybody else, you might be thinking, "Oh, I'm going to make it," but you're all alone. It can be really tough out there.
Yeah, and I mean, like this, just looking around, like this is beautiful.
Yeah.
I mean, this must have been so cool for the level designers to get to just play around with this. This
Absolutely.
is definitely one of the prettier set pieces that you guys have in Battlefront.
Yeah, I think for the team, it was really great to be able to kind of recreate a planet that large and have it that close on in the view screen. It's amazing. The guys can do some really great work.
So is this very similar to how Death Star kind of works, where it's really the game is encouraging the Rebels to get to the next sequence? It's not trying to be as punishing as other game modes, like Walker Assault.
Absolutely, yeah. No, that's what we always want. We strive for balance as kind of a holistic thing across the entire game mode, and that kind of really comes to light in the third phase. So the first phase, we wait towards the Rebels, which is why there's a lot of cover for those guys.
Oh, yeah. There it is. I told you, the debris field is very
legit.
punishing.
It's legit.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's weighted again to the side of the Rebels, which is why we keep sending in more U-Wings over time. There's mobile cover, so I don't know if you saw it, but every time we pull in some U-Wings, some Corellian corvettes warp in at the same time.
I noticed that, yeah. So are those actually acting as defensive units?
Yeah,
or?
They're mobile cover.
They're mobile cover, okay.
They won't do much, but they're sitting there trying to fly in here, get you as far as you can without providing something, some form of cover from all the TIE fighters.
Nice. So we did have another. Now we have 3 U-Wings on the field. It looks like we did lose 1.
We just lost 1. Yeah.
We're gonna try to get. Let's hang out with this guy over here. Let's see if we can try to help him out. They do have a lot more health, I've noticed, than other ships. It seems like you kind of increased the health pool on them.
We did.
Bit more.
Again, wanted to make them a bit more tanky, so you can make it through.
For sure. Let me try to go here and. So why did you only give? In this section, only X-Wings and TIE fighters.
So that's where we partner with Lucasfilm and we get an understanding of what's present in this time frame, in this movie set, that we can utilize. And I don't want, without getting too much into the spoilers of the movie.
Yeah, sure.
For them, contextually, they're like, okay, there might not be any U-Wings here, or might not be any A-Wings here, or any TIE interceptors. So for us, we want to stick somewhat close to that. Again, give you a bit more of that feeling without kind of ruining what we know is really going to be there.
That has to be kind of difficult for you guys to try to stay true to the timeline of Star Wars. I mean, this is a couple years before Episode 4, a little bit after Episode 3. So you kind of have to stay true to that. But you have so many assets that are already in the game. It has to be difficult to try to keep a hold from some of the other assets.
Ooh, boy!
Dude, look, I'm trying to maneuver, trying to be Maverick over
slick.
here,
yeah, exactly.
and I lost it for the team. It's definitely one of the things. I'm not wearing headphones right now. So
that's what it is. You don't blame the sound.
Yeah, dude. No headphones. I can't be pro.
I'm actually with you. There's so much of the sound, especially what our guys do with the sound in this game. It's incredible. There's great music.
Oh my! Oh, man, I think that's one of my favorite things, really, in any dice game, is the music. And just the sound design.
Yeah.
Just the blasters, the grenades, the
Everything
explosions.
sounds great, doesn't it?
Even you can hear when they're crunching on the snow when you're on Hoth.
Yeah, exactly.
So what are some other things that we are going to see with the Rogue One Scarif DLC?
Sure. So once you guys pass through this pass through the shield gate, you'll actually go down onto the planet.
Okay.
And that's where the next 2 phases will take place. They're both ground based. You know, we listened to a lot of what people said when they played the Death Star DLC. They said, you know, there might be a bit too much flying.
Sure.
But for us, we want to make sure that we're still able to tell kind of a small narrative, follow a section of the movie a little bit, give players that experience, so that there is a short flying section, but then we want to get back to what we do best, which is that ground infantry combat.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
So hopefully, it looks like we've got all 3 U-wings are right there at the shield gate. They're going for it.
Yeah.
So hopefully we'll be able to get through this next section. I'm really excited to see the next part, which is where we have to go in and we have to destroy some cargo ships, right?
That's correct. So think of that. The overarching narrative for this one is that the rebels are sitting here. You know the basic plot for the movie, which is they're going to steal the plans for the Death Star.
And here we go.
So
here comes the U-wing flying right there.
It right here.
Yeah, blow up one of the cargo ships to create a diversion.
Yep.
Time runs out. You lose.
Yep.
So,
and that guy didn't make it.
Look at that. That's actually really cool. He hit the shield gate as it was closing.
I laugh every time. I love it.
So right now we're on the beaches of Scarif.
Correct.
What is that in the background? What's that gigantic?
That is the giant
tower?
citadel.
The citadel.
That plays a part in the movie. I don't have any details on that one that I can go into.
Sure.
But it is something that you should definitely check out.
Okay, so right now we're looking at the weapons section for Battlefront. Let's talk about some of the new weapons that we're actually getting. So we got the DT-29.
Yep.
Let's talk a little bit about this blaster
Sure.
pistol.
This is Krennic's weapon from the movie.
Okay, so now Krennic, real quick. Let's add a little bit of backstory to
Sure.
Krennic. Krennic is going to be the villain of Rogue One.
Yep.
Correct.
Yes, he is, and we'll have him playable in our game as well.
Fantastic. So he's actually a hero. He's a villain.
He's a villain character. Yep.
Cool. Now we have the A180,
which is Jyn's pistol.
Jyn's pistol.
Yep. Who is our other hero, which is Jyn Erso.
Cool.
So this is a modifiable weapon. This is
my favorite.
This is your favorite?
This one's my favorite. I like the A180.
I like the DT, but that's all right.
Now can we talk about this one?
We can talk about
the bow rifle because I know the community is really, really excited to check out the bow rifle. So let's talk about the bow rifle.
Sure, we can talk about a little bit. I think the best thing about it is its kind of secondary function, which is a very lethal melee strike.
Do you mind if I show a little bit?
Go for it.
Okay.
We can show a little bit.
We'll show a little bit. Well, then we'll get off and we'll check a couple of the other weapons that are available. But let's take a quick look at the bow rifle. So
sure thing.
It's a single fire.
Yep.
So it's a semi-auto rifle.
Yep.
Right?
Yep. Absolutely.
Okay. And then we also have this really cool melee.
Yep.
So that's a one-hit kill.
See that? It is. Look at that.
That's epic.
That's great.
Just a bunch of energy that kind of just comes out. Now what I've seen some of the guys do is they do some nasty rolls and they'll melee right into it. So I mean you can do some really cool combinations.
It feels cool, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think it'll really give a great feeling for a lot of people that love meleeing and wanted something that was more of a one-hit kind of skill kill.
Sure.
Right? Because you see, when you do that animation, you kind of leave yourself open there for a little bit. So if there's a bunch of people around, you're really going to pay for it.
So let's quickly take a look at just how beautiful Scarif is. We've got this jungle interior. We've got these beautiful beaches.
Yep.
And of course, I'm trying to look around at the back. I think this beautiful set piece, and we get killed. But so right now, we are trying to blow up one of these cargo ships. So we have 2 cargo ships that we have to plant explosives on, and the Empire has to defend. They don't want us blowing these things up.
No, absolutely not.
So let's set a little context as to why we're blowing up these cargo ships. So the whole idea is to set a diversion for other rebels that are on Scarif right now, so that they can get the Death Star plans.
Correct, exactly. And that's so when we talk with Lucasfilm, a phrase that they love using is camera left.
Okay, camera left.
So if you imagine when you're watching the movie, there's a whole lot of action going on center screen where Jyn and her team are doing their thing.
Sure.
But what we strive to do when we create this great gameplay is, it could still be you in the movie somewhere, but just not following the main track of the heroes in the movie itself. So if you imagine that Jyn and her team are doing their thing, and maybe when you're watching the movie, you see kind of off to the right, you're like, oh, there's explosions happening over there, or there's something fighting going over there. That could be you.
Cool.
That's kind of the context that we like to set here. So you imagine that when we blow up these cargo ships, we're really drawing out the Imperial presence, we're drawing their focus, so that we're helping the team with the actual objective of stealing the Death Star plans. We're helping them along just by creating this diversion.
Awesome. So right now we're using the A180, which is I kind of call it the Swiss Army knife.
Yeah.
It's got 3 different functions. It has the normal blaster fire, so single fire blaster.
Yep.
Then I also use the sniper add-on.
You did before.
Now here's the
blaster
kind
rifle.
of the blaster rifle add-on, which is really cool. So it doesn't start to you can't use it forever.
Yeah.
As soon as you start firing it, then you have no heat. So there's no heat management to it. You just get to fire as many rounds as you want until
that cooldown.
Until the cooldown, then it begins.
Yep.
The third one is a anti-vehicle
Yeah,
add-on.
it's called it's like our ion mode of the gun.
Okay.
And it's more more anti-vehicle, yeah. So it'll do reduced damage to players, but it does a bonus to any vehicles.
Cool. But now one of the most unique things about this weapon is that I don't have any star cards.
No.
So where do they go?
Yeah, exactly. So one thing that we took inspiration from the movie when we talked with our partners at Lucasfilm is there's some new weapons. They're like, okay, but what makes them unique? What's fun about them? What can we use as a cool gameplay option for players? And for Jyn's pistol, they said, well, it's modifiable. She'll use it in a variety of different ways in the movie.
That's really cool.
And we said, okay, you know, and CJ, our weapons designer, said, like, I have some great ideas for how we can do this. I'd like to try this unique way of removing your star card hand, but giving you a whole bunch of options that really lets you have a lot of versatility, but you give up some of your choice there, right?
Yeah, so I mean, you really have to make a decision. Now, here's a really cool
pickup. Oh boy.
This is a really, really unique pickup.
This is one of my favorite things.
The U-Wing gunship.
Yes.
All right, so now we're up in the U-Wing, and now we get to actually lay down death and destruction from above.
Exactly.
And try to help our teammates plant these explosives on these cargo ships. So we got about 2 minutes left. So hopefully we can get some guys on the ground planting the explosives.
Yeah.
And as I'm laying down fire from above, get a couple kills. It's got some good splash damage to it as well. So what was really the idea behind this gunship?
So this too is just like, you know, similar with Jyn's weapon is we take a lot of inspiration from the movie, and we talked with Lucasfilm about you know, how does the U-Wing function? What does it do in space? What does it do on the ground? And one of the things they said is, you know, it is a troop transport, but it does have some gun capabilities. And I think there's been images out there for quite some time showing one of the new characters firing from the side of the gunship.
Yeah.
That's exactly what we wanted to relive here.
Awesome.
Especially because the inspiration that they took for the U-Wing was really some of the helicopters of the Vietnam era, where there's a lot of guys laying down cover fire for their guys on the ground.
We don't have any like music or anything playing. And like.
No, we don't. You can add your own.
Okay,
right?
cool.
I mean, but we do have great music already, you know, as we covered.
Sure.
But this gives you the look at that.
Yeah, look at that. You got your little kill feed going on.
So the fun thing about this is you can still be sniped out of that thing.
Yeah, which is crazy.
People can blow it up, so you have some defensive capabilities like popping a shield or jamming some radar.
Cool. So we might actually get this one. Oh, no, they got disabled. So we got about a minute left. I don't think we're actually going to get this one.
Oh, man.
We might not get this one, but it's okay. We've got plenty of time to go over everything that's available in Rogue One. Scarif, the new DLC coming to Star Wars Battlefront.
Can you flip out of that and then flip back to the sniper rifle again?
Sure.
I love
that
animation's really cool.
I mean, that's really, really unique.
Yeah.
And even when you pull that apart, you put the blaster rifle
exactly
on, it looks really cool. So right there, that was actually a new.
You made it.
We did it in the last 30 seconds.
Nice.
So we saw a new stormtrooper as well.
We did.
It's not a stormtrooper.
It's a shore trooper.
Shore trooper.
Yes.
Okay, cool. So is that actually from the movie?
That is from the movie. Yep.
Cool.
Yep. So the new thing you'll get, like we've done with other game modes other DLCs, is we've had unique characters for each faction as kind of the default.
Okay.
And the shore trooper will be the default trooper for the Imperials on Scarif.
Awesome.
And similarly, you know, you only saw it really briefly for your own character on the Rebel side, but there you go. There's kind of your new outfit.
Yep.
So okay, so we're in the third phase here, and what you're going to be doing is you've picked up a data tape.
Yep.
You need to deliver that. You need to get back to the U-Wing.
Cool.
So what we've done here is we flipped the spawn points. Now the Rebels are coming from where the Imperials were spawning before, and they're trying to march back to their ship.
Okay.
So you know that distraction when you blew up one of the cargo ships, all the Imperials come out and they're trying to flip. Like, what's going on over here, right? So that's kind of the little bit of narrative context that we gave. And look at all this destruction.
Yeah, it's crazy. Everything's blowing up. There's fire. Things are burning over here. It's nuts. So right now we're using this is Krennic's pistol.
This is Krennic's pistol, the DT-29.
The DT-29. So it is a.
Woo!
Wow, what a shot!
Man.
Wow, someone call FaZe. That guy's going MMG. So this is a unique pistol as well. So this is almost like a revolver style.
It is. Look at so fire off a couple rounds.
Boom, boom, boom,
boom,
boom, boom.
Cool little animation.
Yeah, and then he ejects this cartridge and loads a new one. So we haven't seen anything like that.
And there's no overheat. Yeah, exactly. So his weapon is very unique. Like you said, he'll pop out a cartridge. So we took that from working with Lucasfilm and said, okay, here's a really interesting option for us. We finally have the ability to make a weapon that does not have overheat.
Yeah.
Right. So many people are used to overheat. But you know, here's something that's a bit more real world friendly. But the challenge is, look at that. Woo!
Boom.
Nice, Timmy.
Boom.
Look at
and then we get disruptor rifle. These guys are going just all in.
No joke.
Wow.
But it's a unique bit of gameplay. You know, a little bit different than what you're used to. But it does have quite the crazy reload time, right? So there's a payoff for how powerful that thing can be.
So for people that go ahead and grab these data tapes, what are some of the limitations that they have?
Sure.
Are they able to like fly around? Can they pop shields? Like what can they do and what can't they do when they're escorting this?
The biggest change that we made is we don't want to allow people to use the jump pack.
Okay.
Because otherwise, people can clear the level really quickly just by jump packing far enough apart. It can be really challenging if you spec correctly and you have a team with you. Like we had some early play tests where this thing was just going super fast. Like we were finishing this phase in like less than a minute. It was crazy. Woo.
Oh boy.
Oh boy, get out of there.
Boy.
Oh, nice. Oh man.
Now this is one of the things that are pretty difficult. Is like you have the entire the Imperial team is completely converging around this one point.
Exactly.
So what are some of the if I'm trying to figure out a tactic, what would you think, Paul, is the best thing for my team to do?
You definitely gotta work together.
Okay.
So
that's teamwork makes the dream work.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes.
Right.
As they always say. But that's really the challenge, right?
Okay.
Is you gotta try to find interesting ways where that they're gonna try not to be. Use cover. I think some basics there, right?
Yeah.
But it's really comes down to, and this is a lot of what we're trying to do with this game is there's just team play involved, right?
Yeah.
Got to be smart about how you're trying to get this stuff across the finish line.
So
trying to be your hero doesn't always work.
That's true. There's no I in team.
Yeah.
So there are 3 different variations.
Sneaky.
I don't want to say variations.
Sneaky.
Yeah, dude. I think working the outside is definitely gonna help. But they actually have the icons above my head. It actually shows where I'm going.
Yeah,
correct?
exactly.
They're actually having a live feed of where I am.
So everyone knows where you are at the time because it's a very important item. They don't want people just see. Oh,
see,
there
I
you go.
panicked, jetpacked out, and I dropped it. So that now the punishment for doing that is actually a moment of time. To where pick it up. Now we just saw something very interesting on the screen.
Yes.
Do you want to explain that to the audience what we just saw?
Sure. So the TIE Striker is a pickup that is a pickup that the Imperials have on the Scarif jungle, and what they do is they call in they use their power up, and within a small area, the TIE Striker will come in and just start bombarding people that are nearby.
Okay.
So if you're not careful, this thing's just going to light you and your teammates up.
So do I call it in? Do I pilot those TIE Strikers?
You call it in.
Okay. So,
you call it in, yeah.
Does it work globally across the map, or is it kind of like within the section?
It's kind of like within the area right nearby where you.
Okay.
Look at this,
Dude,
man!
yeah,
Uncontested.
Look at this.
With a
These
minute left.
guys aren't even looking. I'm just gonna try to go in all sneaky peeky. Let's
Woo! Oh, jeez, headshot.
I did it.
And he gets it.
We won.
And Timmy does it.
Boom. So that's cool.
Well done.
So there wasn't like a moment of time where I had to kind of like sit there and wait. As soon as I hit the U-ship, boom, game over.
Yep.
Rebels win.
And there you go. Look at the score.
Cool.
Not too bad.
Not too bad. You're trying to interview. You're talking. You're playing.
You're not 100% focused.
There's a
on
lot
that.
going on right now.
But
that was fun.
Good.
That was good.
Glad you liked it.
So that was just one of the 3 maps that are available in.
That's one of the 3 maps.
Okay,
Yeah.
why don't we tell the audience what those maps are?
Sure. So we've got 3 maps on the ground that are called Scarif Beach, Scarif Jungle, and Landing Pad 13.
So what did I just play?
You just played Scarif Beach.
Scarif Beach.
Nice sunny, a lot of waterways, a lot of beaches in the level. The jungle's a bit more jungle heavy.
Sure.
Not as much beach, not as much sand and water looking around.
Okay.
But you're still on these bunch of islands. And then the Landing Pad 13 is a bit more inspired by a lot of the Imperial stuff that's happening. A lot of the.
All right.
Cool. You want to go check out?
So now we're going to take a quick look at the Shore Trooper.
Yeah.
This looks neat.
Yeah, it is.
This looks really cool.
And then if you click one to the right, I believe, on the body.
On this one?
Yeah. Oh no, maybe it's the other way.
Okay, we're going to click the other way.
There you go. Shore Trooper Captain.
All right. So what's the difference?
So this guy's a captain.
Well,
no. But no, he's your rank 100 unlock.
Okay.
So the main difference right here is there's not a lot of unique guys that are special at Scarif. So we were able to work with Lucasfilm and say, how can we add some variation? What else is there?
Sure.
And they said, we've got some captains. These are the guys commanding the ground troops. So this is going to be your unlock.
Now there are some other troopers that we might see. You want to talk about those?
The Death Troopers?
The Death Troopers.
Yes. So if we get lucky enough to become Krennic, this time around, one of his passive abilities is the similar to Leia or Palpatine in their honor guard. He'll have some Death Troopers as his honor guard.
Okay. Cool. So now we're back. We're starting all over again, but we're fighting for the Empire.
Yes.
And we're going to try to
the glory of the Empire.
The glory of the Empire. We are going to try to attack these U-wings, and we're going to try to keep them from passing through that shield.
Exactly. Get those guys.
So, Paul, what are some things that are are very memorable for you working on Star Wars Battlefront? Because, I mean, you've been working on the team for a while now,
For a while now, yeah.
So, I mean, like, is Rogue One, would you say Rogue One's your favorite XP pack, or your DLC,
man.
or whatever you want to call it? Or
That's a tough one.
Which one's your favorite?
I'd say more... Man, I don't know. That's a tough one.
Okay.
I want to say Rogue One.
Sure.
But, I mean, Death Star is huge because it's the Death Star.
It's the Death Star.
I think the big thing about Rogue One for me was I think that's really when we kind of hit our peak in terms of great collaboration with Lucasfilm.
Sure.
Because, we're working alongside a movie. It's very challenging.
That's got to be hard.
It is. When things are in motion on both sides,
yeah.
It makes it tough to kind of lock things down. But, we have great partners over there. We're able to work through a lot of our stuff really quickly and easily. And like I said, the strength of that partnership really got us a very, very long way here with Scarif. So I don't know. I kind of want to say Scarif is my favorite. I think that's when the team kind of had really gelled the most, and we had a really good concept early on.
Yeah.
And we felt really good about what we were doing. And I don't know. I think this is my favorite one. It's the one I'd say I'm most proud of.
So, I mean, what is it like being? I mean, I've known you for a little bit now, and every time I see you, you're always wearing Star Wars gear. I mean, is that because
I have a shirt on underneath?
Yeah, I mean, is that because you are a fan of Star Wars because of Battlefront, or were you a Star Wars fan before getting into working at DICE and Battlefront?
No, I was definitely a fan well ahead of that.
Okay.
I mean, I have even when I first moved to Stockholm, I brought with me a whole lot of Star Wars Legos and stuff like this. Before we even knew we'd have this deal in place with Lucasfilm. And it's been a passion project. It's something I care deeply about.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of other people on the team that are just like that.
Yeah, I definitely met a handful of Dennis.
Yep.
He's a huge Star Wars buff.
He is, yeah.
And there's just a handful of the guys back at Stockholm that they're very passionate about what they do, and it's like you can definitely tell that translates over to what you guys have done with Battlefront.
And I think that gives us a great advantage in terms of what could be interesting or fun for people to see and play in the game. Because right now, a few of us, weekly, we'll sit there and we'll watch the latest episode of Star Wars Rebels.
That's cool.
We'll play the X-Wing miniature game.
Nice.
We'll do a whole bunch of stuff like that just because we're huge fans of the franchise. We want to experience it. And then, it gives us inspiration for what could we do here.
Yeah.
Either you see it in other medium, you're watching it in comics, you're getting it in books, we're playing other games. Like, there's a lot of things that we can draw from. And we know that other fans will appreciate those things because we appreciate them, right?
For sure. This U-Wing is so slippery.
Man, that guy's
he's like Top Gun up here.
Woo!
He's trying.
He's really, look at this guy.
Oh, I think he actually hit the debris.
I think he did.
See, there is that debris field rearing its nasty head again.
Exactly.
And if you're not careful, you smack right into it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know if we can talk about this, but I mean, like, what are some? Can we kind of tease some things that we're coming up, or is this pretty much it for Battlefront? Is there anything that we can?
I mean, there's not much I can say past what we have here for Scarif. I mean,
fair enough.
What we do care about is letting players have a good experience for the entire life of the game.
Sure.
And and we see that being for quite some time. I think EA as a whole has announced. Oh man.
Those things are they hit hard.
They do.
They hit hard.
They do. Like I said, they're mainly defensive, but they can pack a punch when they need to. EA has mentioned that we are making another Battlefront, but that's not for some time. And we want to make sure that there's still things for people to do.
Fantastic.
I just I don't have anything to comment on whether
it's just exciting to hear saying that you want to see like just the Battlefront right now what we're playing to have a nice long life.
Yeah,
which is good to hear.
Yeah. That's something that we care about, especially a lot of the team do. We want to make sure that players are happy.
Yeah, I mean, and I think that definitely like resonates with the community. Like, I mean, we were talking with Elliot yesterday.
Yeah.
Star Wars Battlefront updates and Battlefront updates. Excuse me. And he was saying that you guys have done just a great job with listening to the community. When you push out these updates, it's the stuff that the community wants to see.
Yeah, I mean,
which is really cool.
Especially when it comes to bug fixes or tweaks like that. The team will at least look into these things and evaluate them, even if we're not always talking with the people about it. We have a few guys that are a bit more vocal than the rest of us, but we're looking at that stuff, we're evaluating it, and typically when there's big gameplay bugs, those are things that we jump on.
Yeah.
Right. It's just sometimes just a challenge to get that patch out there in time.
Right.
But we are listening. Even if we're always not responding, like we're trying to make sure that what you guys are asking for, we can at least think about.
And
right?
what are some great ways for people to communicate that with you? Like,
I mean,
where can they go?
The forums is one thing. We check the forums. I know a lot of guys use Twitter.
Yeah.
I think kind of the official way we'd want to go is via the forums right now.
Sure.
But I mean, you can get a hold of us in a variety of ways.
I mean, like Reddit. I mean, the Battlefront Reddit is a very
we look at Reddit
people.
as well. Yeah.
They love their game.
They do.
They love it, and they definitely owned it. They've made it their own. Which is really cool to see. It's definitely something I feel like it's new in the gaming culture as a whole. People really finding these outlets and kind of all getting together and talking about their favorite game. And, you know, you didn't see that like 10 years ago. So it's really cool to see like forums and Reddit and social media as like, these outlets for people to go and talk about their game, the things that they'd like to see in the future. For not just DLCs, but future games.
Exactly.
So
and I mean,
really
those are things where we, it's they're kind of idea generators, right? Like somebody could say something that completely just random and everybody discounts it as something crazy, but we could sit there and be like, okay, maybe there's a kernel here of something that we could actually expand on. It decided to ram you.
It's so thin, you kind of lose it.
You
and
think
then
you're gonna get it.
Yeah, you're good. And it's like, oh, maybe he'll fly, past me or whatever. And he's just like, nope.
He's going for the kill.
So
these tough defense.
Yeah, which is good. We've got 2 minutes left, but with 2 minutes left, these guys can definitely. We saw in the last one.
That's
there's like a minute left, and then they were able to get through the shield. So we didn't get to see the heroes as much in the last round. Hopefully, we'll see heroes
next time
in this coming round. Let's talk a little bit about the heroes and the villain. And what we can come to expect with their abilities and whatnot.
Absolutely. Since you're playing Empire, and I'm a fan of the Empire, we'll start with Krennic's abilities. So, like I said, he's got the DT-29. That's his gun by default. He has one of his powers is a modifier for that, where he changes out the ammo type to what we call Armor Breaker.
Nice.
And so, armor is kind of a new feature that we've introduced with this expansion pack.
Okay, let's talk about armor a little bit.
Absolutely,
real quick.
sure.
So how does that work, and how do I get armor?
Sure, you can get armor through a variety of buffs from some of the other heroes. Krennic will be one of them. I'll talk about that power in a minute. But also, and this is kind of a tease, we won't go too deep into it, but we did add traits back to some of the original heroes.
Nice.
So there's the option for you to get some armor through the new hero, from the new heroes and as well as other heroes.
Yeah, I'm gonna be nice. I want him to get through the shield.
That's fair enough.
So
that's good.
I actually want to go to the next one. Okay,
that's good.
So we got armor, some new traits going into the other heroes.
Yep.
So that's really exciting. That's really cool.
It is really cool. I mean, it's something that we saw took off quite well after X-Pac 1.
Yeah.
When Guillaume, our character designer, came up with that idea. And it's something that people have been saying, like, oh, this is interesting. When are you going to start adding them to the old ones? And it's something that he's been toying with and been working and trying to balancing out. And we're finally able to bring that to players.
Cool.
Yeah. But back to armor.
Yeah.
So sorry. So armor acts just as you would expect. If you get an armor buff, you're obviously a little bit more resistant to damage.
Okay.
And if you get an armor debuff, you're going to take a little bit more damage.
So do I pick it up, armor, or is it given to me?
It's given to you via like hero powers.
Cool.
So in the example that I'll use with Krennic right now, it's more of an armor debuff. And what you'll do is when you switch out to his armor breaker ammo type, you get one single shot.
Okay.
It has a slight homing to it, which is crazy. Yeah. But it's super powerful. But it's great against other heroes because it drops that hero armor, so they take a little bit more damage. So you can drop those heroes quicker.
Okay.
I think against your average trooper, it'll do a whole bunch of damage. It'll probably kill them off.
It's definitely a one hit. I got hit by it yesterday, and that was dirty. Yeah. We just got hit by the U-wing. That thing's it's insane.
It's good.
That is very intense.
But what's great about the thing, like I said, is against characters, sure you get a one-hit kill, but it's a long reload time for that one bullet, right? Okay. And it's something that you keep active until you decide, try to snipe him out.
Try to snipe him out.
I like it. But it's like I said, it's really good against heroes. Okay. So I think that you'll see that he'll probably get a lot of play in heroes versus villains.
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
I think that'll be a game changer there. So that's one of his abilities. One of his second ability is a droid.
Okay.
That's useful to help lock down positions. It has a squad shield. When enemies get close, it'll pop a Dioxis.
Oh.
So it is pretty lethal stuff.
Yeah.
And it also scan pings. So it's just a little AI controlled little buddy. But again, use it like you would some of the other droid pickups that we have to help you lock down an area.
So he's not so much more of your aggressive heroes. He's definitely more of I would guess, kind of come over in the support class.
Exactly. He's a bit more support, but he's got some bite to him as well. His last ability, speaking of support, is called Wrath of the Empire.
Ooh.
And that one allows you to, and again, going to support, all the... Oh boy. sorry, I got kind of lost just watching that shot. What he'll do is players in a radius around him will get a temporary health boost to about 200% of the normal health level, and that'll slowly decrease over time. But it's really great when you're trying to rush a point, right?
Yeah.
Like you want to buff up all your guys around you, rush in, take a point, hopefully nobody dies. And he'll even give heroes a temporary health buff.
Nice.
Yeah, so he's, again, very support.
Let's see what happens here. They're pushing really hard on this one. But they did plant on the other one. So let's we're going to give up this side.
Switch
we're
it up, switch it up.
Disarm this explosive because I don't want them to blow up my cargo ship.
Yeah, I would imagine not.
What do you think is on the cargo ship? Do you think it's just supplies?
Cargo?
Do you think it's cargo ship?
No, it's I mean, you spoke earlier about what they're doing on Scarif, and it's really a lot of the supplies that are used to create the Death Star. So the Imperials there have a lot of stuff, and there's a ton of, you see these orange crates here. That's a lot of what they're transporting up and down, and there's a lot of very highly valuable cargo in those things.
Yeah.
But we won't get exactly into what's in those because I don't want to.
I just have to say, like we were talking a little bit yesterday about Rogue One, about Catalyst, which is a book that kind of explains like why things are happening before Rogue One comes out.
Yeah.
I'm so pumped for this movie. Like and like that's the coolest thing about this DLC is like you're really getting a glimpse into what we are going to see in just a few weeks on December 16th.
Exactly, and our goal here wasn't to, if you look out there,
I was just about to say, let's talk about this. So this is an AT-ACT?
Correct, the all-terrain armored cargo transport.
And you were telling me these things are 40% larger than an AT-AT,
Yeah,
right?
they're a lot bigger.
That's gigantic.
Yeah, it's massive.
Now, we aren't really, like, these things aren't going to be coming towards us. They're kind of just, like, in the background, right?
Yeah, they're more of, like, our battle beyond.
Okay, cool.
It's sitting there adding help adding some atmosphere.
Cool.
Just like in the movie, you'll see them, but they're, oh boy,
I just have to say, I just no-scoped that guy, and that was pretty good.
That was,
So what was it like getting to look at something that's 40% larger than what you've already put into the game?
I mean, it's crazy, right? Which is why, sometimes things so massive you can't put in the gameplay space because you're sitting there thinking, well, what it's just going to dominate everything.
Yeah, I mean, like, it would be this gigantic thing that would probably encompass the entire
like
map.
half the map.
Yeah.
Right? So it takes 3 steps and you're done.
Yeah,
right?
GG.
But no, back to your question earlier, it's really cool to see a lot of this stuff early on and kind of get an idea of, okay, how could we use this thing, right?
Sure.
So the U-wing, obviously, we came up with some great gameplay options. But even some of those orange cargo crates are like, okay, these will be good as just general cover, cool things that help add atmosphere to the levels. And that's something that our level designers had a look at and said, what can we do here? Oh boy.
Oh, dude, we got a hero pickup.
Here we go.
Oh, I gotta dump my smart rocket.
All right, let's do this.
Here we go.
Yeah, a minute left. It's gonna be tough.
All right.
Oh, they got it!
Oh my gosh! What?
Bad timing.
I just
bad
got
timing.
it.
Bad timing.
I just got it.
Look at that explosion.
That's beautiful.
I'm amazed by that every time I see it.
I mean, it looks very real.
It does.
That goes into like your photo-based rendering, like all those really cool things that are in Battlefront.
Exactly. Like our guys, they can do amazing stuff.
Yeah.
Amazing stuff. I would like to, using the A180 and swapping between all those different things.
I know there's other weapons in this game, but I can't.
I can't
stop using this thing. It's so
great.
cool.
It is great. Yeah. I mean, it goes to it speaks to what the team can come up with. Some of the crazy ideas they have.
Yeah.
And what I really love about this gun is all the animations. Martin, our animation guy that was working on this stuff, put a lot of time and effort into making it look and feel really cool. Oh boy!
So
we just got hit by our new star card, the Sonic Imploder.
Sonic Imploder. So it kind of acts as like a flashbang.
It acts as a flashbang. You notice you took a little bit of damage as well.
Oh, okay.
And it's something that with Jyn has a version of it. So we'll,
all right. We didn't get to talk about Jyn.
No, we didn't.
So,
but kind of a sneak peek into one of her powers is her version of the Sonic Imploder also gives you an armor debuff.
Oh.
So same thing there, right?
Okay.
So again, she's a bit supporty from that aspect.
Cool.
But when we get into her powers later on, she's very much more look at you keeping the defense alive.
Yeah, man. So we talked about one star card.
Yeah.
What other star cards? We can go back and we can look at those at the cards after this round. But what other star cards are we to expect with this DLC?
Sure, it's actually just the Sonic Imploder.
It's just the Sonic Imploder. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right.
But we've added those new power ups, the TIE Striker and the U-wing, because they're not typical star cards in their effect because they're so experiential. They're really powerful. We want to make them feel cool.
And I kind of like what you guys are doing. Is you're not just throwing more stuff. You're kind of going back and focusing on really the core mechanics and concepts of what Battlefront is. Like this gun, I think the A180 is a great example of what you guys are doing. Like you're focusing on just the gameplay.
Yeah.
You know, you're not just throwing you could have just thrown like 5 weapons in the game and you didn't.
Right.
You're really focusing on 2.
And I think that came to a lot of what we were seeing kind of chatter-wise. Not necessarily anybody specifically asking for, I want this type of thing or I want that. It's just we're understanding, you know, there's a ton of blasters in the Star Wars universe.
Yeah.
But how different are they?
They all do the same thing,
exactly,
really.
right? I mean,
they'll
and
shoot
that's
lasers and go pew pew.
and that's a challenge. So it's like, well, what can you find that's unique about that weapon, rather than just sure it's another blaster?
Yeah.
Right. So this is where CJ took a lot of inspiration from comics, the TV shows, talking with Lucasfilm about what are some are special with these things, and coming up with very creative ways to. Oh boy, Rouge One.
Oof.
Ouch.
Oof.
Someone can't spell. But you know, it's a lot of inspiration from those things to try to figure out what can make for an interesting gameplay experience.
Yeah.
You know, experience kind of being the thing is it's not just I'm just shooting a gun, it's doing this thing. But it's like, how does it alter the way I fundamentally play the game? Mm-hmm. I mean, even the DT-29, just in a small subtle way, there's no overheat.
Right.
You're so used to an overheat.
Really cool. Like
right?
I like just being able just to dump this thing until it just stops.
Yep.
So we got a turret over there. So I'm gonna hit my number 3. Well, if
and get shot down.
Try to. That TL50 is pretty intense. It sounds really cool too.
It does. Although you know what, man, I love the sound of the DT-29.
Yeah.
Firing that thing.
Yeah.
Oof.
All right, so defense is doing a really good job.
Yeah.
I noticed it's a little more difficult for the rebels at this point.
Yeah.
But it's been so easy for them, kind of leading up to this. So we were talking about it before, where it's kind of it's that balance of like, well, we're going to give you these 2,
yep,
but we're going to make you really, really work for this last part.
Absolutely.
Which I feel like, I mean, like if you know, in the movie, I'm sure it's a pretty intense fight for them to try to get off this Imperial planet.
Yeah.
That is probably crawling with just
tons of
shore troopers, AT-ATs, ATS. I'm sure there's just a bunch of stuff that's everywhere.
Exactly.
So yeah, I mean, I think it kind of just it does
makes
a nice
sense, right?
way of showing that.
And especially if again, speaking kind of the narrative that we want to add to some of the gameplay, if you've destroyed a cargo ship, it's going to draw the attention of a lot of people. They're going to be like, okay, this is serious now. We need to take this seriously. Let's amp up the defense
right now. All right, so we just got the TIE Striker.
Yep.
So I'm going to just pop that, and so now it's active, right?
No. Yeah. Oh, you popped it already. I didn't notice. Yeah.
So I hit it because I just wanted to see it.
Okay, but the problem is, okay, so it's coming in.
Oh,
you got somebody.
I got a kill.
All right, nice. So look at him go.
There he goes. So is that it?
Oh, he'll make another pass.
It's gonna come back around.
Yeah.
All right.
But it's cool. You know, it's again adding to that experience. What makes it cool, and this speaks a little bit to your thing earlier about just adding. You got another kill. An assist. All right.
You know what? You thought I messed up.
I thought you did.
I messed up.
I didn't know you use it. I wanted you to run a little bit closer to somebody. But that's all good.
So it doesn't. It's not a global thing. It kind of works within the general vicinity of where you are, within a certain radius of where you are. Okay. Thanks for the heal, bro.
Nope, him, nice.
You know what did you just start? Ooh.
But again, like, you know, speaking to kind of that the uniqueness and adding some experience, the TIE Striker fundamentally, if we were making a flyable ship, isn't that different from a TIE fighter? So what's the new gameplay thing that we're adding there versus what you said before is like we're just adding another blaster with a different skin. Like it's not always about that. It's not always about quantity. It's about what is fun and interesting to do.
Oh, that flashbang is so punishing.
Oof.
That sonic imploder is
good.
Rough.
It is. You haven't seen it because you've been blinded by it, but the animation, the VFX for that thing, and the sound, great stuff.
Yeah,
great stuff. It's my second favorite to the thermal imploder, which is always my favorite. I love that thing.
So, Paul, we've been talking about Rogue One, Scarif. We've been showing a lot of this off. I don't know if we should tell them now. Should we tell them now?
We can tell them.
Can we talk about that? When are we going to expect the Rogue One Scarif DLC?
December 6th. So in what?
That's 4 days.
4 days? Yeah.
So 4 days from now. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So
pretty soon.
Yeah, but that's going to be just for
season pass.
Season pass holder. Okay, so if I don't have season pass,
if you don't have season pass, you have to wait an extra 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
That's right.
Okay, so that puts me a little bit closer to the release of the movie.
I think the movie's the 16th.
16th for us here in the States. I don't know if you guys over in Europe get
it
early.
I don't
get it early.
Well, we kind of worked out a deal with some local theaters to get a day early preview.
Oh, cool.
I don't know if it's the same day as you guys. It's just a day earlier than Sweden would get it.
Okay.
But we got it hooked up for the entire studio.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's gonna be fun.
It's gonna be a big thing.
Did you guys go and see Force Awakens all together as a studio?
We did.
What is that?
No, sorry, no. We only did it as a game team.
Oh, okay.
As the Battlefront game.
Okay,
team.
so just as the Battlefront team as a whole, what is it like just going with a bunch of your coworkers and just like checking out?
It's great because, like I said, so many of us are fans, and so many of us would go do this anyway.
Yeah.
Now it's like I get to go experience this movie with, rather than like maybe 1 to 2, 3, 4, 5 buddies.
Sure.
It's everybody. Like everybody there are friends.
That's cool.
They're all super fans. It's a great atmosphere.
That's really
It's a lot of fun.
That's got to be a lot of fun because usually it's just me and my wife. We go and we watch the movie together. But being able to just have like all these people that you work so hard with every day to kind of almost take what you're going to see on the screen and make it come alive in a video game. Like
exactly.
that's gonna be a really, really cool experience.
Definitely.
Awesome.
I think what is also really fun about those events is just the fact that you get to see a bit more of what you've only been teased at before.
Yeah.
So we never saw like final stuff from Lucasfilm. They're never like, here's the movie. You get to see it early and kind of craft your plans off of that thing. It's more just like, here's some high level ideas. What do you think would make sense to work from a gameplay perspective?
Yeah.
And then we're kind of thinking the same. We're like, okay, these are some of our ideas, and they're like, okay, we had similar ideas, or maybe they had different ideas, and we kind of negotiate what could work best there.
That's cool.
And that's where Scarif came up with is there's a bunch of new planets that they showcase, but this one made the most sense for us and for our game.
Do you guys ever get to work really closely with the actors?
Oh man!
So like, I mean, I can't remember for the life of me the two actors that were for the heroes.
Right.
But do you get to work with them at all, or is it just like
not us?
No. Okay.
No.
Darn. That would be actually really cool.
It would be. It would be. We tried to get them to do the voices, but we couldn't make that happen, unfortunately.
Okay. So then how do you get their likeness?
Their likeness
with the hero, with
so
the
actually,
actual models.
So speaking to photo scanning earlier, and some of the work that the team does is we've worked with Lucasfilm to really streamline an asset pipeline that we get from them. And like,
cool.
All the crates and stuff that you've seen, all that stuff is direct scans from the movie, right? And Lucasfilm would give those to us in a model that we can work with.
That's awesome.
But on top of that, they'd also give us scans of the actors themselves in their full getup.
What?
So they're doing like the T-pose thing that people see in games all the time. Like they're doing stuff like that, and then we kind of pull that stuff. And then we have our artists go over, gamify it, massage the images a little bit, because sometimes
you have to massage images.
Well, yeah, I mean, you gotta be. They're talented stuff. They're talented folks, man. I can't praise those guys enough. They do some amazing things.
Like you guys definitely set the bar to a whole new level with what you're able to do with Frostbite and what you've done in this game.
Yeah.
And you can definitely see that you guys took it to the next level, even like in Battlefield 1. I'm so excited to see what DICE is going to be able to push out in the next couple of years with Frostbite and just the new techniques you guys are using with the game engine.
Yeah, I mean, it's not just the engine, right? I mean, the engine empowers the artists to do a lot of the great stuff, but some of them are just extremely talented. Yeah. And it's just what can they squeeze out of Frostbite?
What is that like working with people of that caliber? I mean, that's got to be really intimidating.
It is, because I'm not an artist by any stretch of the imagination.
Right.
And having to go over to them and ask a question about their work sometimes, I'm nervous because I'm like, I don't want to sound like an idiot. I don't want to insult them unnecessarily.
Yeah.
But they're thankfully, I think they understand that I'm not that understanding of what they do, but that I can appreciate the talent and the skill that it takes to do all these things.
That's awesome.
But it is intimidating because I'm like, look, man, I don't know how you do what you do, but just keep on doing it, right? It's great stuff.
So we're back on Scarif now. Is this the same map that we saw before?
No, this is a different one.
So
I really need.
You want me to
throw it?
Okay, we're gonna throw it.
Check it out.
All right.
Hopefully, you don't get too blinded.
That was awesome. Woo! That looked really cool.
Right?
For you guys,
I mean,
we just
you got killed for it.
Yeah.
But
so what map is this?
This one, looking around, I believe is our landing pad 13. If I'm not mistaken.
Landing pad 13. Okay. I like that. I'm glad that it's not just one map. It's one big section. Like we were within like this area of Scarif, but you guys broke it up into
exactly.
multiple
look,
sets.
you're a little bit closer to the Citadel.
Oh, we are a little bit closer.
Yeah. So I mean, there's different islands.
That's cool.
Like I think in the movie, there's some shots that you've seen in the trailers where there's kind of like this top-down view of this area, and there's a whole bunch of islands around that Citadel, right? So we're playing around with where are we. Again, kind of that camera left thing. We're in different locations each time.
Cool. So with the DLC with Rogue One Scarif, is the only game mode that I'm going to get to play just Infiltration?
No.
Or what else do I get with the DLC?
There's a bunch of stuff. So like I said earlier, we have new maps, 3 of them being ground-based. One of them is space-based. So the space map you played earlier, we'll break that out. That's part of Fighter Squadron.
Cool.
So there's 2 modes.
Sweet.
Outside of that, we've got 3 more ground-based modes. We've got Turning Point.
Yep.
We've got Blast.
Okay.
And then we've got everyone's favorite, Walker Assault.
That's my favorite game mode. It's always been my favorite game mode. It was really cool getting to go to the studio last year, very early on, and getting to see Walker Assault when it was still very much so early on in its concept.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, we've got this really cool idea to try to emulate the Battle of Hoth. What do you guys think? It was very, very cool. And you guys have done such a great job being able to not just put it in one map, but make it work in every other map.
In a whole bunch of different environments.
For Battlefront, which is awesome.
Yeah. I mean, and it's a challenge here, right? Because look at all these trees.
Yeah.
Right? Like there's a lot of cover there. It's similar to Endor in that regard. And there's a lot of foliage there that acts as cover. So it's a challenge when you kind of design levels and you need to figure out what's in the way of this thing. How can you work around where a walker would have to navigate?
Oof, he was waiting for me.
He was
sneaky. Look at that. He was kind of camping right there. Oh man.
Gotta play the objective, man.
So how many of these data tapes are available for us to grab?
There's 3.
There's always
going to be 3.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. And so we talked about that you can lose them. Now, if I drop one, does the Imperial soldier, does he just stand next to it, or does he have to hit the interact key to make it go away? Or is it just
time-based. It's a time-based. Yeah. Cool. So it'll eventually kind of reset and go back where it was. So what we kind of wanted to balance that out because it's tough if you had to just make it in one go. Yeah. Right. That's really challenging. So we're gonna give the guys some time so you can feel like it's almost like if you want to American football style where you keep moving the goalpost or you keep moving the ball down the field. Right? Yeah. So is it so? Let me just make sure I word this correctly. Sure.
With the Rogue One Scarif DLC, what else are you guys packaging with it? Are there updates coming?
There's always bug fixes and tweaks. Like we talked about the new armor system earlier on, for example. But there was a bug out there for a while, longer than we wanted to, which is multiple heroes in Walker Assault. People found some exploit for it.
Oh
right?
No.
Patch that out.
Nice.
Yes.
Nice.
So there's always stuff like that. There's big bug fixes that we've got coming.
Okay.
We've also done a lot of tweaks to various weapons.
All right.
Some abilities, some hero abilities, some hero health, tweaking some of those things around.
Cool.
One of the big things that we did, which is we discussed it, I think Dennis mentioned it over Twitter a while ago, and something that we wanted to make sure we got to fans or get in fans' hands is that we've brought 2 game modes to the Death Star DLC.
Nice.
So we only shipped with 3. We just brought that number up to 5. So we're going to add cargo and droid run to that one.
Very cool. And that was something that a lot of people were looking forward to.
Yeah, exactly.
And they were kind of disappointed that it wasn't there. So it's cool that you guys heard that.
Yep.
And like, hey, let's make these guys happy and throw it in there.
Yeah, exactly. So it gives you more reason to go back, try out that DLC if you haven't before, or maybe you just haven't played in a while. Yeah. It gives you the opportunity, like, you know what, maybe cargo's your thing, right? Jump in, play some cargo.
So, I mean, like, and that was one of the things that I wanted to ask you is that, I'm sure you guys have seen this, is that there are definitely some players that maybe have played the vanilla game and they weren't maybe as happy as they were hoping to be.
Right.
What are some things with, that you're hoping with Rogue One DLC that's going to maybe bring those players back?
Sorry. I think it's really just the experience of Rogue One.
Sure.
Right? It's brand new.
Yeah.
You'll go see the movie, you'll get amped, you're going to be like, I want to go do that thing. Let me go do that thing at home.
Yeah.
I want to go play that out, check it out. And I think that, just speaking like we were about bug fixes, updates to heroes, things like that, over time, you can definitely see how the community is playing a game, balance things out so it's a bit more fair to everyone involved.
Cool.
And over time, it's ultimately a different game than it was at launch.
Yeah.
Right? And we like to think that it's improved.
Yeah.
Hopefully, the community and others would agree that the game has gotten steadily better over time. Probably still not what everybody wants. There's always somebody that wants something that we don't have or we don't want to do. But I think that we've made a lot of progress over time.
Cool. I mean, and that's one of the really cool things that I've noticed with game development is that it's not just this static thing that you throw it out there and that's it. It's very organic. It's dynamic. It's always changing as you go on through the lifespan of a video game, which is really cool.
And that's something that I think we as a company have really been trying to get into more, is making sure how does that experience exist long term?
Yeah.
And how do we continue to grow it? How do we continue to evolve the game over time for a long period of time. Not just like you said, fire and forget.
Right.
And it's something that we're putting a lot more focus on. So it's changing the way we think about various things.
Nice.
So no drastic changes for this one, but there's always opportunities in the future, right? So it's these ideas aren't lost on us. They're things that we're considering, we're talking about, we're spending time considering.
Yep. And hopefully, I mean, like, we don't want to talk about it too much, but, EA has come out and said you guys are working on another Battlefront. So hopefully some of those things that the community is putting out there, hopefully those are things that you guys think about, for future games.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we switched it up. We are now Blast, and we are on landing pad 13. One of the cool things that I've noticed is that the time of day has changed.
Yeah.
Which it makes the map feel very, very different.
It does, and it's like adding that bit of change. You see a lot of cloud cover in this one. It's kind of sunset over here. What's great, in contrast to, man, the guy with the misspelled name has just got your number.
Well, I can't hear the beeping. When you get close to a proximity, you hear the beep, 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 boom. I was like, oh, it's beautiful. I'm looking at this place where I want to go vacation.
Exactly,
I'm thinking, like, do I have enough miles to get myself out here, wherever Scarif is? Right. I don't know if my miles work for.
So this is interesting right here. Just really quickly, if you look left to the TIE Strikers that we've got up on this kind of docking pad here, their wings are up.
Yes.
So that's not how they normally look. But this is how they look when they're parked.
Ah.
So it's a bit different when they're flying around. Their wings are down. When you call it in, it's a bit different, right? So like when you call it in, the wings are more down,
like more like in their attack position.
And these are, this is the small detail that we get to with Lucasfilm.
That's cool.
When they're like, okay, we're gonna park this thing, they'd go check it out, or we'd talk to them. They're like, oh no, actually, when they do that, they're up. I'm like, good to know. Didn't know that.
So do they send you a picture, or do they just say?
Sometimes it depends on what it is. Sometimes they might send us a picture. Sometimes they might just have to tell us. Make them angled up at like a 30 degree angle. Like,
okay, all right, we'll make
that
work.
On that. Yeah.
So for those tuning in they might have just stumbled across the stream.
Sure.
Right now we're taking a look at Rogue One Scarif, which is the new DLC for Star Wars Battlefront, and we are playing on Blast. We're playing one of the game modes, Blast, for Rogue One, and we're playing with a new weapon, which is the A180, which is Jyn's
new weapon.
Handgun.
Yep.
It is her blaster.
You've seen her use it in some of the trailers already. And, just recap what we said before, you've got a couple options here in terms of how you can modify your weapon.
Yeah.
So right now you're kicking it with a blaster, or your blaster pistol.
Yeah, and then we can switch it to a sniper rifle.
Look at that animation.
Okay,
so good.
I'm going to get a snipe here. And then other things that it can do, it becomes a blaster.
Blaster rifle, yep.
Blaster rifle right there.
With no overheat.
And then boom, we also get an ion.
Yep. So the cool thing about this is, the sniper rifle and the blaster rifle variants are part of the movie. That's something cool, but we get to work with Lucasfilm. Sometimes we get to do and create things that the ion portion we actually created ourselves in partnership with them.
That's cool.
So that's a kind of a new attachment for that weapon type that we came up with that we worked with them on.
That's awesome. So it kind of acts as almost like a grenade launcher almost.
It's an anti-vehicle thing, yeah. But the way
it kind of it's not like an ion torpedo where it fires out. It kind of like lobs it out.
A bit more of a skill shot.
Yeah. So, but we are playing on this is Dock 13, landing pad 13. Yeah. All right. So, and this is, again, like this is something really exciting for me is like I get to see this in a movie.
Yeah,
which is really, really cool. I like Blast. Blast is fun for me. It's kind of one of those quick game modes that you can just load up.
You just want to jump. I just want to jump in for 10-15 minutes, just kill some guys.
Yeah, for sure.
Exactly.
So what other changes or new things that we haven't talked about are we to expect with this update coming in just a couple of days?
Ooh, man, that's a good question.
Is there anything that we've some of the maybe more smaller things that we haven't really covered?
Actually, the thing that we did, we started to touch on it earlier, and we didn't, which upsets me a bit because it's one of my favorite things is the Death Troopers.
Right, we didn't get to talk about the Death Troopers.
No, we went off topic.
So cool. Okay, let's go back. Death Troopers act very similar to honor guards for like Leia and for the Emperor.
Yep.
So you get two of them.
Get two of them.
Yep. Two of them.
They are my favorite part about them is they're almost 2 meters tall. So for the Americans in the audience, like
running
yourself,
on empirical, how big is 2 meters?
It's about 6'5".
6'5". So that is a basketball player. That is like that's like a point guard.
So you've seen some of the trailers. You see Critic walking, and you see a bunch of these Death Troopers nearby. They are giant. Maybe they don't come off that way in the trailer due to perspective. but you'll get to see them here when they're running around and they're a full head or so taller than every other trooper on the battlefield.
And they're menacing. They've got like this like LED green like lighting on their vents.
They look scary.
They look terrifying. So what are the abilities of the Death Troopers?
So they come with the DLT-19.
Okay.
They have the cooling card.
Okay.
So they can just keep refreshing that thing and just mow people, right?
Okay.
They've also got a smart rocket.
Nice.
Which is always great, one of my favorites. And then what I love about them the most, outside of their just imposing presence and their look and feel,
sure,
is they come with a thermal imploder.
Thermal imploders, the dubstep grenade.
Yes. So you can just destroy faces with him.
Awesome.
I love him. I love him.
And again, that's another asset that is coming from the movie.
Yeah, from the movie.
So movie. So those guys like roll around with Krennic, like that's like his posse.
That's his boys.
That's his boys.
Exactly. Some little backstory into kind of how we develop things and how we think about things.
For sure.
Talking with Lucasfilm, they were like, he usually has, I can't remember the exact number. It might be a nice shot. It might be about like 10 or 12 of them at any time. That's like the max you'd ever see on screen.
Okay.
Right? So we're like, okay, 10. That's a lot. That's a lot. So we started to figure out, okay, maybe that number could be a little bit lower. So we were trying to nail around 8.
Okay.
We said let's try 8, see how it feels.
Oh my God.
So that way when Krennic shows up, it's like his boys come and you're like, oh boy.
Yeah.
Krennic's here, the Empire's here, things about to get serious.
Yeah.
Like you start getting real nervous. That was really overpowered.
Okay.
Like it was like people in playtests were like, this is just no fun. They're just rolling over us. Like it's just ridiculous. So the guys went back and they're like, okay, all right, how do we tweak this? Well, and this is where balance comes into play. And this is a real tough part. Yeah. They're like, well, we could drop their health, or we could change their weapons up, but they only have certain weapons. We need to be true to the movies in terms of like what weapons they would use. So we're like, okay, we drop their health. Well, then they're just regular troopers, essentially with a different skin, and that's not as interesting. It's not as fun for gameplay. Why would we do that? So we went back to the kind of honor guard feeling. Yeah. Gave them a bit more health, just like the honor guards have. Sure. Gave them some cool abilities, and just said, let's try this out. People felt that worked a lot better. Let's try to keep the scale small, because otherwise you get too many people being Death Troopers. Yeah. And it's really challenging.
So that has got to be just another cool thing, is getting to work with those assets and being able to just play around with them and see like how they like interact. Like those playtests must have been just a heck of fun.
Oh, it's crazy.
Just to get to do stuff like that.
It's crazy. I mean, not to sugarcoat everything, but there's definitely times where you're playing something and you're just like, what, I'm not feeling this thing. Yeah. I don't understand it. It doesn't feel good. It doesn't play fun. So it's a lot of iteration in terms of what do we. Oh man. Oh boy. That one's a hard one. Opportunity
when
cost.
You use the alt shot. When you use
there you go.
There we go.
Oh, there you go.
Boom. They actually did a lot of health.
Yeah.
That disruptor does a lot of health.
It does.
It takes a lot of health away from those guys.
Yeah. But yeah, no. It's a challenge trying to figure out how does this thing look and feel, and it's just you iterate those things over time. And the challenge of especially working with a movie property like this that is also kind of in development. Yeah. A bit is things change. Sure. Right. So sometimes we're working on something and then we get information a couple weeks later and they go, actually this thing that you did, that no longer happens in the movie. You need to kind of change up what you're doing. And we're like, oh.
That's going to be frustrating because, you guys put a lot of time and effort into...
Yeah, but they're always open. They give us the information as soon as they can. Yeah. We try to adapt as much as we can, but there's limitations sometimes to what you can and can't do. And like you said, sometimes you just have to react to things. The U-wing is a great example. Back and forth during development, it was wings forward or wings back. In what circumstance? Yeah. And that changed 6 or 7 times. Thankfully, it's really easy for us to just like switch the animation, which is which way is it going in what part of the game. But it's still one of those things like it's this way, we're sure. Okay, now it's this way again. Oh, okay. So it's at some point you're just kind of like, man, I just make up your mind. But movies go through the same thing that we do, which is that was nice, man.
That one's hard.
I'm impressed with the marksmanship while talking. But
comes with many years of practice.
I guess. Jeez. I don't have that.
And like the monitor is like on the other side of the room and stuff too. So I think I'm doing okay.
It's pretty good. Yeah. But movies do the same thing that we do. Is sometimes, like I said, when we're doing playtests and we're like, we just don't feel how this is working. They do the same thing. They're looking at a movie, going, you know what? I don't feel this scene. I don't like the way this thing works. For this thing, let's change it up. Yeah. So we need to react to that, and that's part of the process that you have working with partners on this. Is like what's being changed up, what's going on, how do we adapt to it, and what is the cool stuff that we start doing. Yeah.
So going back to things that are going to be added to the game, are we going to see any new HUT contracts?
There's HUT contracts. Yeah, I mean those come with unlocking these cool new weapons.
Okay, all right. So these weapons. So for those that might not know what a HUT contract is, that was something you guys added in the Outer Rim DLC.
Yep, long time ago.
Giving the player the ability to kind of work more for these weapon unlocks.
Exactly.
Kind of give them a little bit more.
A little challenge.
Yeah, a little challenge. But, you don't want to give players things.
Yeah, exactly. If you're given everything, you don't appreciate it,
folks.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
You don't appreciate it. You don't feel like you earned it. You don't get that sense of satisfaction. It's still a little bit of just the oh cool, I got a thing.
Yeah.
And you just move on.
Cool.
Sometimes you just need to work for things. It gives you a little challenge. There's a little bit of pride in what you're doing. It's something to work for.
Yeah. So we're going to see some HUT contracts for these. Are they pretty difficult? Would you say?
They're not too bad. They're fairly standard. I don't think we have you do anything too crazy.
Okay, so I don't have to do 360 scopes.
No, I mean, if you want to try,
U-wing, jumping out of the
U-wing. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, cool.
No, nothing like that.
Okay.
Nothing like that.
So what out of the 3 maps that are available? I mean, they're kind of similar, but which one's your favorite?
Man, that's a tough one. I don't know. I want to say the beach level because it's the brightest, the sunniest.
Yeah. And that one doesn't have as much.
It doesn't have as much atmosphere as like this right now. Just looking at this, look at that sky. You're like, man, there's a storm coming.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Stuff's gonna get real.
Exactly. But I don't know. I think it's the real just bright day because sometimes I can just walk out along the beach, just look out there and be like, it's a nice day out.
Have you ever been to Sweden?
It's just like that.
You guys ever been to Sweden? They can't just walk out and go, the beach. It's not like that in Stockholm right now. It's cold in Stockholm right now.
It's pretty cold. But, coming here is quite the temperature change.
I would love to vacation here.
Yeah.
But I mean,
that's why I enjoy that level. It's because I'm like, this is a beach. Now,
did the guys, the map designers, did they actually have to go on location?
They did.
And cool.
Yeah. They weren't like on movie set location, but they flew out to the Maldives. They took some reference photos, which is why you get all this great foliage here. A lot of time and effort into making those look really good.
And we learned yesterday that the Maldives are out in the Indian Ocean.
Yeah.
Right? I had no idea.
Neither did I.
Had no idea.
No idea. It's south of India.
So if you ever want to go vacationing.
And I knew somebody that went out there, and I assumed they were somewhere else in the world completely. I had no idea where they were. So.
Well, it kind of has like a Caribbean feel to it.
Yeah,
if you've ever been to the Caribbean, it definitely has that like Caribbean feel to it.
Yep.
But this is a beautiful map. Absolutely gorgeous.
It is. I mean, the guys do some great work.
Yeah.
And it's when you're trying to make levels that are set on islands that are all fairly similar, how do you make them feel unique?
Right.
It's a challenge. It's a challenge.
For sure. So this one is, we're on Launchpad 13. And the other one we played was Scarif Beach.
We played Scarif Beach. We've also played Scarif Jungle.
Scarif Jungle. Now that one's a lot more dense. That one has
definitely more dense.
Some buildings that are kind of covered.
Ooh.
What was that? Another proximity bomb, man. Can't hear the beeping.
No.
So that one's definitely a lot more dense. Like it's kind of like within the jungle, surrounded by all these trees, and there's some building structures that are kind of there. Those bunkers that we kind of like ran out of in Infiltration.
Yeah.
I think that one for me is my favorite. I really like.
Yeah, you like that one?
I like that one.
Okay.
I think it's like having all the like you said before, very Endor-esque.
Okay.
And I really enjoy Endor's playstyle, using the trees and the foliage as cover.
Got it. Okay, that's cool. I mean, it gives me a bit of the like Vietnam feel.
Yes.
Right.
Very much so.
Yeah.
Very, very much so.
Yeah. It's nice. Not too bad. Oh, actually, that was kind of bad.
That was kind of bad. I think I am the heavy anchor for our team right now.
I know.
But you know what? Trying to talk and trying to make sure you guys in chat.
You can't hear.
No, I can't hear. But I want to make sure everyone in chat, the people that are really, really excited about Rogue One, they are getting as much information as they possibly can before it comes out December 6th.
December 6th.
For season pass holders.
Yes.
You guys will be getting that on December 6th. So if you guys have any questions in the chat, we're going to try to pick some of those out, maybe answer them. We've got Sledgehammer70, who is the community manager for Star Wars Battlefront. He is hanging out in the chat. So if you guys want to @Sledgehammer70, ask a question, we'll try to get those answered. We've got Paul here from DICE, Stockholm, Sweden, hanging out with us here in beautiful Los Angeles, California, at the DICE LA office, showing off some Rogue One DLC action.
Yeah.
So now we're doing Walker Assault.
Oh boy.
Scarif Beach. Now these are not the AT-ACTs.
Correct.
These are the standard AT-ATs.
Yep. So contextually, both are on the planet in the movie. But again, since the AT-ACTs are so much larger and the maps are a certain size, we didn't want to, it'd be weird, it'd be hard for gameplay.
Right.
It's one of those choices sometimes where you want to do a thing, but it's challenging.
Sure. I'm sure like time constraints and things like that.
Exactly. And I mean, those things are 40%, like you mentioned earlier, I told you they're 40% larger than a regular AT-AT. And it took us a long time to build just the AT-AT itself.
Sure.
And, some of our time, we just didn't have the ability to make something that large to the level of quality that we would like.
Right.
And we don't want to give players kind of a lame version of what it could look like. We want to give them the top of the line
right.
stuff.
I mean, that's definitely something that you've always delivered is just the top of the line, like the best looking items that anyone could really see in the Star Wars universe. So you don't want
Absolutely.
you don't want to kill that.
Yep.
So again, guys, make sure get your questions in. If there's something that I've missed, I do apologize. So again, ask Sledgehammer70 any of your questions that you have in regards to Rogue One, Scarif DLC, or maybe some of the updates that are coming with the new DLC and the patch. There might have been something that we've missed that we haven't talked about, or maybe you'd like for us to touch on that again, maybe in a little bit more depth. So definitely ask Sledgehammer70, and we'll throw those questions up here, and we'll get them answered for you.
Yeah.
So, Paul, have you ever streamed on Twitch or on YouTube or on Facebook?
I have not. I've considered it.
All right.
I don't know, man. Like, I don't know if I'd have the focus that you do, the ability to kind of like multitask.
Yeah.
Hopefully, I could pull it off sometime. I think it'd be interesting.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Something I've always considered, but again, I don't have time as much as I'd like.
Yeah, now here's a real question.
Yeah.
If you were to stream, would you stream Star Wars Battlefront?
Absolutely.
Or would you stream like another Star Wars game?
I would stream, I gotta be honest, I'm a gamer.
Okay.
So I'd stream whatever I enjoy playing, probably.
Cool.
And I'd absolutely play our game.
Heck yeah.
But there's other games I'd probably play.
Sweet. What? So, you said you were a gamer.
Yep.
What's your background in gaming? Like, when did gaming really become a thing for you?
When I was 6.
When you were 6.
Yeah. I I remember playing games at friends' houses like Ataris and stuff like that.
You've been around for a while.
Yeah, thanks, man. That hurts, especially when I just had a birthday.
He did. He actually had a birthday yesterday. We had cake and everything.
Yeah, it was good. It was good.
Fun.
I appreciate it. Yeah, it was good. Thanks to Sledge for that one.
Yeah.
But no, when I was 6, I convinced my parents to get me a Nintendo.
Cool.
And one of the very first games I bought, not knowing anything, was Final Fantasy.
Nice.
And I played that game endlessly.
Now the new one just came out too.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
But odd fact about Final Fantasy, I never beat the first game.
Oh.
I played various variations. I played 2, 3, 4, blah, blah, blah. I beat all those. But for whatever reason, I never beat the first game when I was 6. And so, whether that's just wasn't smart enough as a kid, I don't know. But I just never got around to it.
Cool. Very cool.
But
now, so we're kind of. I don't know if you guys know Paul. So I'm going to ask him a couple questions. Going to throw him on the line. What was your first Star Wars memory?
Oh.
What is the thing that really sticks out for you? Is like, that was it. That's what really turned me into a Star Wars fan.
Probably some of the Death Star sequences in Episode 4.
Yeah.
When I was a kid.
For sure.
I think it was because I still had kind of that fighter pilot feeling that as a kid, like that part spoke to me the most. Lightsabers and the Force were just mind blowing. But I'd say like it was really the kind of aerial combat stuff that got me going. But over time, I've definitely developed a bit away from that. I definitely care more about the Force as a thing. Like that's my primary driver. Like I always think about, I read a lot of the books growing up.
Okay.
Unfortunately, when George Lucas decided to kill all those, I cried a lot. And I looked at my collection of 100+ books and goes, well, these don't matter anymore. So I had to start over with the new stuff.
Yeah.
So I read a lot of the comics, stuff like that. So I don't know. Episode 4 really kind of kicked it off for me, and then it was just really after that I was just wanting to dive into anything and everything that was Star Wars.
Yeah.
So ever since those movies, the next movies came out, I would read. It was like I said, I was reading books. I was reading everything at the time that I could get my hands on. Buying a lot of the toys. Oh, get it.
Okay. Finally hero pickup.
Here we go. Now you get to be Krennic for real.
Now I can actually play with Krennic, which is really cool. He's got a very menacing just stance about him. He just has this look of like, yeah, I'm a bad guy.
Yeah, look at him.
What's up?
Look at him.
What does he say right there? Because I don't have.
I don't remember that exactly.
Okay,
no,
all right.
I don't remember based off.
Okay, so the number 1 shot is the armor piercing one.
Yep.
It's the armor.
That's the one. Yep.
So is that correct? Did
Yes.
I say it correctly?
That is correct.
Cool.
Armor breaker.
Armor breaker. Okay, and then so his 2 is
the CTB5, I believe, is the name of the droid.
Okay, and so he lays down a shield.
He drops a squad shield around him.
Cool.
He'll kind of move in an area. Like, again, he's good for locking down an area.
Yeah.
He drops a Dioxis if any enemies get nearby, and then he also does a scan ping.
So for me, running up to... I can get this guy.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
So I'm going to want to run up to this
There you
point.
go.
I'm going to want to deactivate this. So I'm going to drop
your
my
droid when you're in
droid
there,
right
yeah.
here. And that's going to give us a shield. So there's our shield. And then would it be a good idea to hit my 3 and give the power of... Is it called
There's nobody nearby.
Okay.
There's a couple guys. You can pop it.
All right, so
yeah,
there we go.
So check it out.
So Wrath of the Empire is
Oh,
down.
you just got blinded, unfortunately.
It's okay, I still got him.
But that red Empire symbol, which I think is so awesome, gives everybody in that area a passive health boost. You yourself and other heroes, if there are any heroes nearby, would get a health boost as well.
Cool.
Temporarily.
Now, what are these? So, what are the little shields that are above my health bar?
Sure. So those are your trait icons. So
Okay.
you just see you currently have high armor because you got near some guys. So when you have different number of allies nearby you, you and they get kind of an armor increase percentagely based off of how many people are nearby. So the more guys you have just hanging out nearby you, the more resistant all of you are to damage.
So that's really playing into him filling that support role.
Exactly.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So this guy is not static either. He is rolling around.
Yeah,
does he stay within just a very small area?
Exactly. Yeah, he's
Okay.
similar to some of the other droid pickups that we have,
Okay,
right?
so
But now you can drop another one if you wanted to.
Oh, can I? I can have multiple ones.
No, I mean I think it replaces the other one.
Oh,
yeah, it
okay,
does.
okay,
But I
okay.
mean you can see that little health bar moving down on the guy. So you can it's instead of having a one-time droid pickup, you're like, now I can drop in multiple.
Yeah.
Right. I can do it again and again and again.
Cool. Now, does he have any cool emotes?
Ooh, fire some off.
All right, I'm gonna kill this guy. All right, I want to take a look at his emo. I'm gonna hide in the bubble.
All right, that's
so
the safest way to do it.
All right. I have no idea.
Talking
what he
some
just said.
trash.
He's talking some
Talking some
trash.
trash.
Yeah. Take that, rebels.
Oh, he's gonna do something.
Talk bad about my mom.
Ooh!
That's exactly what he just said.
That's not how that goes down.
Uh-huh.
That's bad.
What about my mama?
Oh, there he is. He's angry.
There's that force.
He's angry.
Yeah. I don't know what he said. I don't really want to say
he's
something
angry.
for that, but
He's definitely angry.
oh man. So I mean, the rebels are doing a great job. So this is something that you guys introduced with this smaller maps with Walker Assault, is that you actually brought down the health of the walkers to kind of fit with the less objectives that are on the map, which I really like. It would be very defeating if you were to play with a walker from Hoth. On a 2-point
small map like this, where
really
there's no cover, or so there's not that there's no cover, but it's very open. Yeah, we got to play with it. We got to tweak it.
Yeah.
Right. It needs to be. There's being kind of true to the lore of Star Wars, but it's also you need to have gameplay. It needs to be balanced.
It's all about that
properly.
balance.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think sometimes people forget that.
Yeah.
Is that they might want something, but then you have to at the same time realize that might not be
the best
what
thing.
is the best thing for the game.
Exactly. You might say that you want it, but then you try it out and you're like, this is actually just doesn't play well. I don't like this thing.
Yeah.
And it's tough to get right. You know?
Right.
It's a challenge that we have to work through all the time.
So we're waiting for this last Y-wing to come by, finish up the line run. We have both AT-AT still. That was a long run.
Well, you almost don't, man. They're actually taking a lot of damage.
This guy's got 12 left. I don't know where we're getting shot from. Oh, okay. Here we go. There is our Death Trooper right there.
There he is. Check him out.
Huge.
Check him out. He's way taller than you.
Death Trooper, stop moving. I give you a command.
You can check him out.
Look at the green lights on his intakes. He looks scary.
Oh, he does.
Oh, there we go.
He's a big guy. Yeah, he looked. Oh boy.
There we go. Yeah.
He's just like waiting for his commands right now. He direct me.
I love it. That is awesome. That is really cool.
Yeah. They're one of my favorite things.
Well, they're so different from the other troopers that are in the game.
Yeah. And it was that guy was definitely a labor of love. Our character artist, or one of our character artists, Bjorn, was working on that guy. Put a lot of time and effort into making sure he got that guy absolutely perfect.
I mean, could you imagine like turning a corner and running into a Death Trooper like that? Yeah,
it's scary.
It's terrifying. So that's cool that he got to work on that. It's really cool. I think one of the coolest things that I'll remember with Battlefront, and just to speak again about the passion of the team. You guys got to go down to the Lucas Vaults and really just get your hands on all of the props and everything that were in the game. And I don't remember the name of the guy who was there, but he has Vader's mask, and he's kind of sitting there just looking at it. And I don't remember who he is. I can see his face, but I think that is like that picture really just.
Was he a bald guy?
Yes,
that was Bjorn.
Oh, that's Bjorn.
That's Bjorn.
Okay, so that was really cool just to see. Like you could tell the passion that was there, and he's just like, wow.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Like, I think really that picture really just it kind of just it spoke a million words.
Yeah, exactly.
And just it really just shows just the passion that you guys have at DICE. So we do have some questions. Guys, please note in chat, Sledgehammer is reading your questions. He is picking them out. He's throwing them up on the screen for us to read out. If he doesn't respond to you directly in chat, don't worry, he still loves you. Senpai has noticed you. Definitely throw some Timmy Senpais in the chat.
Nice.
But he is paying attention. So the first question is, are there any hero blast in
so
Rogue
I think sometimes when we're creating content, we put stuff in the game in the code that is unfinished.
Okay.
I think people happen to find references to something that we were working on but haven't fully developed.
Okay.
And sometimes things that we throw in there won't always come out.
Okay.
So we don't know. But there's no official statement on Hero Blast other than it's a thing that we've been playing around with, and if and when it comes out, we'll let you know ahead of time.
Boom. Cool. How does Krennic's guards affect hero versus villains?
I mean, it's going to be similar to how they'll affect other, how Leia or Palpatine would experience it.
Yeah.
It's something that we considered when we decided to make them honor guards. Was this could be challenging. It creates somewhat of an imbalance between the two.
Sure.
So we're hoping that we can kind of balance things out, which I think speaks to Krennic being more of a support,
right?
Rather
exactly.
than like, okay, now we've got two characters that are going to have support, and we're all just going to wreck face.
Yeah, right now I'm actually facing Jyn, and she is standing right there, and she
just
is
murder
scared.
you.
So let's quickly, before we answer more chat questions, so guys, keep those questions coming. Please tweet or message them to @Sledgehammer70. But right now we're going to talk about Jyn, who is the primary protagonist in Rogue One. For you guys that don't know who Jyn is, she is the daughter of a scientist who has been taken by the Empire to help develop something very, very important for the Death Star. I don't want to give too much away, but that is really Jyn's background. Is that she is this rebel.
Yep.
She is this I don't want to call her a mischievous person, but she's got a kind of a rough background.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of like where she plays into Rogue One. And you guys have brought her into the game. What are the abilities that you've given Jyn for Rogue One?
So kind of the inspiration in the way that Lucasfilm talks about Jyn is that she's a brawler.
Okay.
She no formal training in combat, but knows how to get the job done.
All right, so she could like walk into a bar and just be like,
Let's throw down.
Lights
Let's
out.
throw down.
Okay, cool.
Right. She's no stranger to a blaster.
Sure.
So she's kind of a jack of all trades. She knows how to get the job done, but she doesn't have formal training in anything.
Okay.
So we try to keep that in mind with how does she play? How does she feel? So we gave her, like I said before, she has a version of the sonic imploder that's a bit more powerful than the standard one. But she also has, with her A180, we gave her a unique, with the trooper version, you get kind of 3 variants. You can swap between them. They have cooldowns. We gave her the ability to swap between the blaster pistol and the blaster rifle at will.
Right.
And if you cooled one of them down and you swap to the other one, no more cooldown. So you can flop back and forth and just keep firing like a crazy maniac if you really wanted to.
Nice.
Like it's really empowering. But what happens with that is when she gets kills with her blaster, or if she kills somebody with a grenade, you're building up charges for her third ability.
And what is that?
Her third ability is called Truncheon Surge.
Wait, okay, hold on. Say that again.
Truncheon Surge.
What is truncheon?
It's a baton.
Okay.
But the official name for it is truncheon.
Truncheon.
But anyway, so what she does is she'll take her baton and she'll do like a quick lunge forward, and she'll be able to hit in multiple directions, do this thing. And the intent is really that if she gets in close quarters with a whole bunch of people, she can kind of melee bounce them. Oh boy.
We're gonna play this.
You can melee bounce from person to person. Do it. Let's make it happen.
Let's make it happen. See, again, like these models look so awesome. Like if you didn't tell me that you didn't get to work with the actors, I would have thought like these guys went out to Stockholm for the day and you guys got to hang out with them, take all these pictures and stuff. Like it looks freaking amazing.
Yep.
So good.
So you can see like fire off a few rounds and then hit your
boom,
one.
Boom. Boom. All right.
Got your overheat was up, then now it's gone. You're in the other mode. Overheat, swap it out.
Bam.
Boom.
Cool. And so boom, boom, boom.
Yeah,
boom,
exactly.
Boom,
Look at
boom,
that.
boom,
So you just keep firing away.
Nice.
Go crazy.
Cool. And so the number two.
Number two is
the Sonic Imploder.
Sonic Imploder, same animation, all that cool stuff, but a bit more powerful.
Cool. And then so now we're looking at her Truncheon Surge.
Yep. So the third ability there, you can see it says 3 out of 9.
So what does that mean?
She currently has 3 charges built up.
Out of 9?
Out of 9 total possible.
All right. So I can't just like forever just swing through these.
Ooh, there you go.
So now I have a little bit of cooldown.
Yep. She's got a cooldown on it. You're also out of charges. So you'll work your way back up to get some charges. But every time you get kills, based on your trait level, you'll get that many charges whenever you kill somebody, but not with her weapon.
All right.
So you have to keep killing with the grenade and the blaster to build up charges quickly.
Okay.
And then you can start going crazy with the charges.
Cool. So they're kind of playing off of each other.
Exactly. So she's meant to be more of an active frontline fighter.
That's cool. I mean, and that's nice because you've got Krennic, who's very defensive. He's a support character, and then you got Jyn, who's very, very aggressive. So now I just got some kills. I've got 5 out of 9 total charges that I can have. So now I got 7. All right, I want to find some guys and beat them to death with my Truncheon Surge.
There you go.
Bam.
There you go.
There you go. Sweet.
Boom, boom.
Dude, she's awesome.
Yeah.
And she's a little tanky.
Little tanky.
It looks like. I mean, she's not Darth Vader.
Exactly.
But
like I said,
she got some oomph to her.
Exactly. The idea was that she's a frontline fighter, a skirmisher more than a tank. Right, there you go. Get these guys.
Come here.
Oh.
He's running away. He knows what he's doing. He's like, oh, Jin's coming. I'm out. Peace out.
These guys still want some though.
You want some, mate?
Got
it.
Look at this. Tim's on a tear.
Dude, I like her. She's cool.
She's good. All
right, we're gonna switch back. Now I got that cooldown going.
Yep.
I like being able just to quickly just go back and forth.
It's really good.
Boom.
Boom.
There it is. Boom. Now she also has just a basic melee as well, right? She can just kind of walk out and do a nice little elbow strike. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
So one question we have from the chat is asking about these heroes being usable in the old maps, vanilla maps.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's just like any of our other DLCs. If you own that DLC and you have these characters, you'll have access to them in the other content that you own.
And Disney, unfortunately, Jyn died, but well, she didn't really die.
Gave
Sorry,
up.
She never died. She surrendered. So how does that what is that like when you see some of the Jyn wouldn't show up in Hoth. She would not show up on the Battle of Hoth. So what does Disney say about that, or Lucas say about that?
That's actually a lot of, the premise for the game is always we want to give people a sandbox where they can live out their crazy ideas that they had, right?
Sure.
So this is where with the new game mode, when you're doing that thing, that's a bit more narrative focused, a bit more like, okay, this is a setup that you'd see. This is a bit more closer to what actually happens.
Right.
But a lot of what we did with the core game and some of the early DLCs is like, this could be anything.
Cool.
Right? But still, we want to give players that option in other modes. Just say, sure,
that's awesome.
Jyn could be fighting Boba Fett. Why not?
And that's cool, though. I mean, again, like what you just said, it's a sandbox experience.
Exactly.
I think
just have fun with it.
Yeah, when Battlefront was first announced, it's like when you were a kid and playing with your Star Wars toys, you didn't really care what was going on. You just had crazy things that were going on. That's the same idea with what you guys have delivered with Battlefront.
Yeah. I mean, we're never going to get as crazy. Like, there's a sandcrawler on Hoth fighting an AT-AT.
Yeah.
While Boba Fett fights Jyn, right?
Yeah.
So
right. But it's still cool that's available to you. Is if you really enjoy a specific hero, you can play with that hero on those game modes.
Okay, so one of the fun things that Matt just alerted us to, or sorry, Sledgehammer just alerted us to, is a lot of people think that this is pre-recorded, that we're not live.
Hey guys.
So we wanted to specifically call out Sky Demon 360.
Okay.
That we're not pre-recording.
Yeah, dude. Sky Demon, what are you doing? Come on, man. Why?
It hurts. It hurts.
This is a live thing. We're hanging out. We're in the Dice LA Studios. We're playing the brand new DLC before it's even coming out. This is the Rogue One Scarif.
Yep.
And so this is a new DLC coming out for season.
Should we season pass holders? Yeah. I have should we hold up a newspaper with the timestamp?
Oh my god. Or like my Twitter.
Yeah, exactly. There you go.
Your Twitter.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? We're talking about Twitters. What's your Twitter?
Sure. My Twitter is @the Vestal Viking.
Vestal Viking.
Vestal Viking.
Where did you get that from?
So I love alliteration.
Okay.
I don't know why. Maybe I'm a simpleton.
Okay.
But I grew up in a very small town called Vestal, New York.
Where is that?
Exactly. Population like 25,000.
Okay.
And being in Stockholm, people always talk about Scandinavians being Vikings.
Yeah, and
I was like, easy alliteration, and I'm lazy, so there you go.
Okay.
The slight background ahead of that is I used to actually use, what do I want to call them? Like lesser known Star Wars characters' names, and kind of play around with the letters.
Sure.
But when they killed the expanded universe, I said, well, I can't be associated with that anymore because it's not true. So I changed up a lot of my handles in a lot of the games that I play.
Nice. So if people want to, if they're playing Star Wars Battlefront, what platform do you play on?
I actually play on Xbox One.
Okay, so on Xbox One, will they see the Vestal Viking?
They will.
Cool.
If I ever get free time. I think now I'll have some free time since we just finished this DLC.
Cool. So that you get winter break.
Yep.
You got Christmas coming up.
Yep.
So if you're on Xbox One, you should definitely go follow the Vestal Viking. Go follow Paul, and you guys can tear it up.
And I think a little bit of a tease. Heading into the holidays and the fact that some of the developers will have some time, that might tie in a little bit to the bow rifle.
Oh.
There might be something to that.
And people
there might be a connection.
They definitely want that bow rifle.
I know.
When did the bow rifle really start to become an interest of the community?
I think
when did that rear its head?
Speaking similarly to the way that people kind of found Hero Blast, they saw something in the code.
Some data mining.
Exactly. So we know people dig through stuff.
Yeah.
We try our best to make sure that unfinished stuff isn't found. But people are really skilled at digging this stuff up, right?
Yeah.
I got to give props to those guys.
Heck yeah.
But it puts us in an awkward situation where we have to explain unfinished work to people.
Sure.
And the bow rifle is something that we thought we'd have it ready earlier.
Yeah.
But we discovered an issue with it right before we were set to put it out, and we said, oh, we got to fix this.
Cool.
And unfortunately, due to some of our patching timelines, it means we had to wait quite some time.
Let's talk a little bit about the bow rifle. What is the history of the bow rifle? Where does it show itself?
Oh boy, I want to make sure I get this correct because
Okay.
CJ put a lot of effort into this. CJ, our weapon designer. The bow rifle, I believe, is a Lasat weapon. If you're familiar with Zeb from Star Wars Rebels, he's one of the last of the Lasat. It's a weapon that can only be is taken by somebody that beats somebody in one-on-one combat.
So it's kind of like a way for you to showcase, haha, I kicked his butt, he's
Yeah.
dead.
I mean, there's sometimes we take inspiration from lore in terms of gameplay.
Yeah.
So that, again, let's see if people can connect some of the dots on these thinly veiled clues, right? But I think that's a lot of the history to it. And I think, you when you use it a little bit earlier on in the stream, hopefully everybody got to see it. But it's a really powerful one-hit melee weapon.
Do you think it'd be okay for us to show that again?
You can show it again.
Okay,
sure.
all right. We'll go back.
Hopefully we can get a kill with it this time.
Yeah.
Rather than just kind of
I'm gonna try
shot in the face.
Yeah, I mean, I was trying to show some things off, and they didn't appreciate it. The guys didn't appreciate that. They were going full on. So that's a little bit of the bow rifle. Some other questions that are coming into the chat. They want to know, what are the new hero traits?
Oh, sure.
Let's talk about that a little bit.
We can absolutely talk about that.
Yeah.
So without getting into super specific details of each of them, with Luke, we gave them the ability to update, his trait now gives him a speed boost when he's sprinting.
Okay.
So the more kills he gets, the faster he'll be able to sprint.
Just flying around the map.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. With Han Solo, we tweaked his damage with his blaster. As he gets better, the damage drop off for that bolt over distance will be a little bit lower. So you won't get as much as a damage penalty if you shoot somebody way far away. And also, as well as just general damage increases to the blaster as he advances his trait.
Okay.
For Leia, she's similarly, we want her. She's very support.
Right.
Similar to almost a counter to Krennic in some degree is she'll give an armor bonus to rebels that are nearby her. So again, Krennic does it with his passive. She does it with her. So
Nice.
there's a bit of that counterplay there. With the Emperor, as his trait goes up, he'll have faster recharge for his lightning ability.
Okay.
That way you can spam that guy more often.
I'm gonna try to get it and then get it. Nope, no, that was friendly.
Oh,
that
missed
was
it.
friendly.
Man, you got excited there, though.
I did. Yeah, it's actually really cool when you hit someone with it.
The jumping down to the sorry, we'll finish off the last two heroes. Hopefully
go for it.
You can get a kill with the bow rifle.
I'm gonna get it. I will.
You'll get it. You'll get it. You were doing it yesterday.
Yeah, I was.
But so Vader has an armor increase, a little similarly to some of these other guys, but it's an armor increase for him based off the number of enemies that are surrounding him.
Okay.
So he gets even tankier.
Nice.
Right. And then lastly, Boba Fett gets a little bit of an interesting tweak.
Right.
He now has, he's got this little scanner thing.
Yeah.
He'll have a small passive scan radius that
Okay.
can get a little bit larger over time.
All right.
And he'll also be able to recharge his jetpack a bit faster.
Nice. See if I can get.
Yeah, so a lot of and a hero pickup.
We got to play Jyn. We got to show some Jyn action off. So that's great. So I mean, like it was interesting to see how the heroes were when they first came out, when the game first was released, and now all the different changes they've gone through.
Exactly, the evolution, right? Like I said, I like to think that we've made the game better over time, and that we've really.
It was close. It was close. So now that AT-AT is going to take out that U-wing, bam. Bye-bye U-wing. Sorry, guys.
Yeah. Oh, so one thing I should call out, if people are seeing the screen right now, and this is something that we've just put in for our devs, is there's a little star icon next to someone's name that was on there, and that's something we've added for the developers to identify themselves as developers.
Nice. That's cool.
So going forward, you guys can start seeing some developers that will show up, and they'll have that little icon, so you know who's
nice.
Who. Yeah.
That's cool. That's really neat. It's a nice way for the community to know that they're playing with
a dev.
People that have made their favorite game.
Yep.
That's really cool. Very nice.
And hopefully, like I said, more of us will now have time to go play the game on all 3 platforms, because, whew, man, we're usually heads down.
That's gotta be hard for you guys. I mean, like I know some of the guys that work at DICE, and like they put in some serious time.
Yeah.
Some really hard, just a lot of hours into their game. I think it speaks just to the passion you guys have for the game. But I mean, like, you guys are there for just. Sometimes I swear you guys sleep there.
No, that's illegal, Tim.
Oh, is it? No, like, I swear, like I could.
No. We do spend a lot of time there, but we try to make sure that we keep each other in check. We don't want to stay there too late because it's detrimental to your health.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
It can actually be detrimental to the project if you spend too much time there.
Yeah.
You lose focus, or you do something that you would not normally do. You just make mistakes when you're tired, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So you got to be careful.
I'm really grumpy when I get tired. You don't want to be around me when I'm tired. It's bad. My wife is just like, go to bed.
I do that when I'm hungry.
Yo, you get hangry.
I get hangry.
You get hangry. All right.
I'm very hangry.
So some other questions that are coming in from the chat. 7v7 hero versus villain?
7v7? No, we haven't touched it. We've kept it the way it is.
Boom. Sorry.
Although we did make one small change to heroes versus villains.
All right.
So we wanted to give people the opportunity to play the other side on a map. So we've dropped down the number of wins necessary to win a heroes versus villains round to 3 from 5. But then we'll flip you to the same. We'll just flip sides.
Okay.
That way, people aren't stuck on the same side time after time after time.
Nice. That does get frustrating.
Yeah.
So before we answer any more questions, there was something that I honestly haven't noticed in Fighter Squadron. There was a pickup, and it wasn't a hero pickup. It wasn't a cooldown. It wasn't
a ship pickup.
Repair. What is that?
Yeah. So
how does that work?
So sure. Hopefully you'll run into it.
I'm gonna run into it right now.
There you go. So
right,
that one is a TIE bomber.
It's a TIE bomber.
So automatically calls in some TIE bombers to start shooting. They're AI-assisted helpers, and they'll start shooting rebels in the area. They'll kind of be near you. They'll kind of go ahead and just start terrorizing guys.
Now, how many can I have at a time?
I mean, if you keep running into them, you can get a bunch of them.
Okay.
But it's gonna be a nice pickup.
And
didn't help you because
this debris field is rough, especially when you're flying in third person. Like you can't see it all the time.
Yep.
That's cool. So did you guys add that in with this?
No, it was in the Death Star DLC.
It was in the Death Star DLC.
Yeah.
Cool.
But I think one thing that people were talking about a lot was that they were very overpowered. They were one-hitting people. They were just terrorizing people on the battlefield. So we went ahead and we tweaked that. We dropped that damage down across the board.
So what was the idea behind adding those? Like, what was the whole reason? Because that was definitely something we didn't have before.
Absolutely, yeah. No, it was a bit add a bit more variety, spice it up.
Sure.
And it was also the ability to let players see more of those vehicles in the gameplay space. Now I know that a lot of people want to fly those, obviously.
I mean, I would love to fly a B-wing.
Sure,
like,
absolutely.
It looks so cool.
Absolutely. But I think that the kind of challenge that we got to was, how much can we jam into an experience? Woo! There it was.
There he goes.
But it's also just it's challenging in terms of getting that stuff in there and making sure that it's a fun experience. So sometimes we take the safe route and we say, you know what, we want to give players that experience, but maybe we can't go the full 9 yards. Maybe that's something for later on.
Sure.
Right? Yeah.
And so I think that kind of plays into one of the questions I was asked in chat. Someone asked, did you guys fix the flying vehicle AI?
Yep.
Still one-shot killing and speeder bike hero kills.
Oh, the speeder bike hero kills. Oh.
So
no, we got rid of that.
You got rid of that. All right, so no longer are you going to be road killing the heroes.
No longer. That's it was a huge pain point. It was something that we looked into. Wanted to see exactly how bad the problem was. I think, but a lot of people were quite vocal about it, so it's something we took action on.
Yeah, it was kind of like the hero ship crashing. Like you were like ramming into everybody, Millennium Falcon, popping the shield.
Yeah.
So reduced damage, the AI vehicle deal. change effects?
Yeah, across the board. We drop that damage down so people aren't getting one shot.
All right, awesome. So some other questions that are in the chat. We're gonna wait a little bit because some of them play into some other things that we've been talking about. So guys, make sure you keep on asking questions in the stream. Make sure to send it to Sledgehammer70. So just type in chat at Sledgehammer70 and then ask the question. A big thank you to everyone who's been tuning in for this stream. Thanks so much for checking out the Rogue One Scarif DLC. Thanks for being here. If you're just tuning in for the first time, my name's Tim, aka Darkness429. This is Paul Kelson, also known as the
Vestal Viking.
The Vestal Viking. So we're hanging out. We are going to be streaming up until like 12:30. And then Star Wars HQ is going to come in. Robbie and Ryan, twin brothers, really cool guys.
Yeah.
They have an awesome YouTube channel, and they're going to start streaming at 12:45. So make sure to head on over to youtube.com/Star Wars HQ. They'll be streaming out over there. We're hanging out here on Twitch.
Yeah.
I think we're also streaming over to Facebook as well on the EA Star Wars Facebook page. So thank you guys so much for hanging out. If you guys have hit the follow button on Twitch, thank you very much. I do appreciate it. Coming up on 90,000 followers, which is pretty exciting.
I better follow you. I don't think I've done that. I think I don't. Oh. I blame development. Can I do that? Can I do that?
Right, I was blaming sound earlier.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, fair enough. Right.
That's cool. But I do appreciate it, guys. Thanks for hanging out with us. And thank you for all the questions as well. We definitely appreciate it. So you're going to be heading off to PlayStation Experience after...
I am, yeah. I'll be down there.
Cool. So if you guys are down in the Irvine area...
Anaheim.
Anaheim, sorry. The other side. I don't know. It's California. If you're somewhere in the greater Los Angeles area and you're heading on over to... and you're hanging out at the Anaheim Convention Center, make sure to go say hi to Paul. Let him know you saw him on the stream. You're going to be showing this off.
I'll be showing this off, yeah. People get to play the new game mode.
Awesome. So Infiltration is going to be playable at PlayStation Experience. Is there anything else going to be at PlayStation Experience?
I believe it's a little bit of tease of what you're going to be showing a little bit later on in the stream.
A little bit of VR.
Which is the VR, yeah.
Awesome.
Exactly.
So Paul just talked about the Battlefront VR, which is an update that's coming.
Free.
It's going to be a free update. And so you guys that bought those really cool PlayStation VR headsets, you're going to get to try out and experience what it's like to be in a X-Wing cockpit.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited to show that off.
You should be.
Yeah.
You should be.
Yeah.
Man, it's the guys at Criterion did an amazing job working on that mission. It's incredible. I think the one thing that's really hard to get across really is that it's more the experience than it is what does it look like on screen.
Right.
Right? That's the biggest it's the biggest challenge that I think all VR titles have. And it's a really big thing is like if you were to stream that, just straight gameplay, you'd be like, yeah, sure, I've seen this before. It's I'm looking at a gameplay space.
Yeah.
It doesn't give you that sense that you're in a headset and you're just like, I'm really here. I'm in here doing this thing.
360 degrees are at your disposal.
It's much different than it would look like if you were to watch somebody play it.
For sure.
It's just because then it doesn't give you the full sensation that you would get if you were the guy behind the mask.
And it's so cool to see how VR has really just exploded.
Yeah.
It's definitely just becoming this new thing, and it's exciting. It's giving developers a way to showcase these games in a whole new way.
Yeah.
Which is really cool.
Yeah. It's brand new experience, brand new level of immersion, really, and that's the big thing.
Yeah, for sure.
One thing that Matt wants to call out is the length of the name for our VR mission, which is a long one.
Yeah.
It is the EA Star Wars Battlefront Rogue One X-Wing VR mission. Wow. You're welcome.
Wow, thank you very much. So the
Star Wars Battlefront
Rogue One X-Wing VR mission.
It's a long one.
Which
very descriptive.
That is very descriptive. You know exactly what you're getting into. I was trying to get some answers out of the Criterion guys yesterday.
Yeah.
And they were not leaking anything. I couldn't get anything out of them. I was like, so is this going to be in the movie? And they're like, next question.
Yeah.
Darn. Okay.
I mean, that's the fun part is their experience is a bit more narrative heavy.
Yeah.
So there might be things in there that'll be really interesting. It might have a tie-in somehow.
Yeah,
so,
for sure.
You'll have to wait and play it yourself. But again, like I said, it's free. So if you own both of these things, boom, just jump right in.
I need to get up here.
Also on December 6th, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm sure they'll remind us of that as well.
Yeah, for sure. That's going to be a really big update.
Yeah,
it's going to be a huge update.
It's going to be a big one. A lot of bug fixes, a lot of tweaks, typically. Since we're in Fighter Squadron, we've been talking about the Death Star DLC when we introduced some of the AI starfighters. One thing that we remind people of that maybe they joined late, like you said earlier, we've We've gone back and added 2 modes to the Death Star DLC,
which is awesome.
People were asking for those, and we went back and added in cargo and droid run.
Awesome. Yeah. Awesome. Out of those 2, which one's your favorite?
Oh man, you know what? I like droid run because I love little gonk droids.
Gonk.
I love the fact that they're not static.
Yeah.
The small twist on they're just slightly moving. Sure, it's a small radius.
Yeah.
But it's a mobile thing. It's kind of interesting.
Well,
I like it.
Yeah. I mean, it's a mobile domination.
Yeah.
Which is really cool. When we first heard that idea, I was like, yeah, that's so cool.
Sure, why not?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
And
Plus,
like
I love the
said,
gonk droids.
They're gonk droids. I mean, they're little droids that go gonk.
Gonk. I would. Those are things where you start thinking about Easter eggs. You're like, can we make a playable gonk?
Oh my god.
How would we do that?
Yeah.
What would that look like? Right?
Yeah.
No,
So, skirmish.
We're just gonna jump right in, huh?
We're just gonna jump right in.
No lead in.
Skirmish. Rogue One.
Sure.
Is it happening?
Unfortunately, no new news on Skirmish.
Okay.
We're leaving it as it is.
Okay.
But based on your question earlier about what are we doing farther down the line?
Yeah.
Who knows what's going to happen there? We're committed to making sure that people have a good experience all the way up to that next game that we mentioned.
Heck yeah.
But we listen to feedback.
Yeah.
What can we do to improve for the next game even? So
Sure.
even if we can't get to everything for this one,
Yeah.
we're definitely thinking about these things, taking them into consideration, working with them, and trying to figure out what's the best experience for players in the future.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
Now, one of the really cool things that you guys did a little bit later on after release was adding hero skins.
Yeah.
So it was a little weird. Luke comes in as Return of the Jedi skin on Hoth. I was like, wait a second, that's not right.
Yeah,
so you guys kind of went back and you changed the way that the heroes look depending on what maps they're playing on. Are we going to be seeing any new hero skins?
Unfortunately, no.
Okay, so there it is, chat.
I know it's something people have asked for a long time.
Yeah.
At one point, we had hoped to bring some Death Star skins
Sure.
to everybody. We didn't get them the quality level that we wanted, and then a lot of the challenge is just timing. I mean, with Rogue One, that we had to really just dive into that, and we had to put all our resources into making sure that we gave you a full Rogue One experience with this expansion pack. And unfortunately, that means sometimes we have to make tough decisions.
Sure.
We have to leave some things behind.
So again, if you guys are just now tuning in for the first time, welcome. We're hanging out, playing the brand new Rogue One Scarif DLC that's coming for Star Wars Battlefront to the season pass holders on next Tuesday,
Yes,
December 6th.
next Tuesday, December 6th.
December 6th, and we are checking out a brand new game mode that's coming with the DLC, which is called Infiltration.
Yep.
So let's talk again a little bit about Infiltration and how it works, Paul.
Absolutely. It's again 3-phase game mode.
So very similar to how
Very
you
similar
had
to
it in Death Star.
That's right. That's right. We saw that people liked that concept. Maybe we talked about it slightly earlier in the stream about everybody might not like flying.
Right.
But it still gives you a little bit of that flying experience for those of you that really enjoy it, like myself.
Yep.
But also,
oh, okay.
But then we move on to the next 2 phases, which are completely ground-based.
Yeah.
So phase 1, you're trying to get right here. What you're seeing is you're trying to get the rebels through the shield gate. Try to make sure you make that rush to the planet, get down there. With phase 2 then being create a diversion, create a distraction. You want to lure those empires out so that you can get in there and steal some important information from them.
Yeah.
Not necessarily the Death Star plans like the movie, but some important information from those guys.
Cool. So if you guys don't know, we are outside the planet. We're hanging out at the planet Scarif, which is the base for the Empire, where they are building the Empire.
Yep.
And it is covered by this shield. It has this shield generator that has covered the planet. And the only way that you can get into the planet is through the shield gate, which you can see right there in the bottom left
Exactly,
corner.
and it's tough, and it's represented this way in the movies. But you don't see the shield over the entire planet.
Right.
But it is.
It's very similar to how it was in Episode 6.
Yeah.
Like the shield generator was there, but you really couldn't see it.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but it's really neat. So the whole idea is to get the U-wing through the shield gate.
Yep.
And then once you get onto the planet, then the next phase does start.
Yep.
Let's talk a little bit more about the U-wings and how they
Absolutely.
work.
Sure. So if you're just joining us, the U-wings are more of a defensive ship. But
very maneuverable.
Very maneuverable.
Very maneuverable.
And they do pack a punch.
They do.
But that's not your focus. Your focus is to get through that shield gate. So what you have is you have 3 abilities: speed boost, make sure you get there quickly. You have a shield, and you have a radar jammer. So again, you're trying to stop all those guys from lighting you up, and it looks like he's
gone. He's just out of there.
He made it.
Now, before we go on to the next section, one U-wing and it's destroyed. That's not the end of the game mode.
That's not the end of the game mode.
So if one U-wing is destroyed, don't worry. More will spawn.
Yeah.
So it starts with 1, then go to 2, and then to 3,
yep.
and then just stays at 3 until either the game mode progresses to the next one or to the next section, or the game's done.
Yep.
Cool.
Yep.
All right. So
and
now,
again, and speaking back to something we talked about earlier in the stream, which is about balance.
Yeah.
We try to weight this thing towards the rebels. We really want people to advance through that stage.
Right, and that's kind of how it was in Death Star as well.
Yeah.
Now, really quickly.
Did you get a bow rifle kill with the?
I didn't get a stab, but you want me to try to get a bow rifle kill?
Okay.
All right. Okay.
I need to see you get one.
Okay. So now we're on to the next section now. So here we are playing for the Empire. We want to defend the cargo ships. But the Rebel forces are going to try to come in and blow up either this one or that one. And so hopefully we'll be able to defend it. They're gigantic.
They're really big.
Well, they kind of remind me of like the Emperor's ship. You know, his
the Shuttle Tidarium. Or sorry, what are they called?
Well, that was the name of
that was the name of the ship. What was it? Oh boy.
Shuttle Tidarium.
Now I feel like a bad fan because I don't remember the name of it.
I don't remember
I'm going to get called out on it.
Yep, but they kind of look like they're massive versions of that, or even they kind of almost look like Kylo Ren's ship. Kind of, a little bit. They kind of look like Kylo's ship. But yeah, no, these are gigantic.
When we were making these, we asked Lucasfilm, we're like, hey, we need some cool gameplay objective that we could blow up. What do you have? And they're like, oh, what about this thing? We're like, oh, that sounds cool. Can you give us some reference for how big it is? They're like, yeah, sure, here you go. We're like, oh, that's way bigger than we thought. Like, I mean, it creates an interesting gameplay experience, absolutely, but we're like, that's a lot bigger than we thought.
Now, you guys showcased the trailer yesterday. The trailer was released for Rogue One. Now, I saw the Death Star.
You did?
I saw the Death Star. Where is it?
It's not here in this phase.
Oh.
It's on its way, Tim.
Oh, okay, all right. I thought maybe I missed it. I thought maybe it was off to go.
Nope.
Blow up Alderaan.
So, I mean, I feel like I'm now giving an Easter egg away.
Oh, they don't say anything.
Okay, then I'll just leave it.
Okay, we'll just leave it. Okay, cool. All right, neat. But I saw it.
Yeah,
I was looking through the forums last night. I was looking at Reddit, and people were like, Death Star! And I was like, yeah, that was pretty cool in the trailer. It was really neat.
Yep.
So, all right. So maybe we'll see the Death Star kind of looming in
remember to melee, Tim. That's what you're here for.
I keep on forgetting.
You're trying to get them kills.
I'm sorry, chat. I am so focused on getting the blaster kill.
That's right.
I need to get the actual bow rifle stab kill.
Yeah.
Again, that beautiful explosion. Cargo ship goes down, and now we're onto the final phase, the extraction. So now the rebels are going to try to get these data tapes.
Yep.
Correct. Data tapes. They're going to try to get them out of the bunker, and they're going to try to get into this U-wing that's hanging out right here.
Yep.
And get those off to the Rebel Alliance. We don't know what's on the data tapes.
No.
Something's on the data tapes.
It's important.
They are important pieces of information.
Yeah, I mean, being very, very open and honest about it. Like, we're not following the movie exactly. So we're not stealing the Death Star plans.
Okay.
Right? That's not our objective here. Our objective is to help Jyn and team them steal it. We're just creating a diversion, right? The distraction, like we said in Phase 2. But we're really here to make sure that, there's still opportunity, right? Hey, if you have the opportunity to steal something, there it is! There it is! Get him!
Another one!
Oh, so good!
Another one!
Oh, is that a kill streak? Oh, man. I think
there it is. So they kind of it's almost like the EMP shock. They kind of shake a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
Then they die.
It's really empowering.
Yeah.
It feels really cool. So you imagine, you've got the jetpack equipped. That's what it's going to be. A lot of people jetpacking in.
Bam! I saw some guys yesterday. They were rolling around with personal shields.
Yeah.
They were popping personal shields, and they'd run up and they'd stab them.
Yep.
So.
Yep.
It's intense.
It is.
It's intense, but it has a nice trade-off, though.
Exactly.
It's not like this OP blaster with an OP melee.
Yep.
It's an okay blaster.
It's an okay blaster.
Okay blaster. It's not the blaster that I'd go for.
Yep.
Really, I'd rather go for something a little bit with more of a punch.
Exactly. But if melee's your thing,
I love
it.
Then you like beating up people. I see how it is.
Exactly.
Paul Kelson,
I'm doing it.
He's a BA.
Yep.
He's got a BA
in BA.
In BA.
There you go.
And again, we got these the ATACTs.
Yep.
That's such a mouthful.
It is.
These things are gigantic. What is the orange plating here?
That's so if you flip back and you kind of look at what the cargo ships are carrying.
Those orange boxes.
It's those orange boxes. Yep. That one's a different size, different thing, but the orange intent is basically these are important Death Star materials.
Okay.
All right.
Which plays into this whole timeline. The Empire is going and they're ravaging the galaxy for these materials to build not only the Death Star but also their fleets. This is a really cool time for the Empire and what they're doing. It's sad. It's really sad for everybody else who's on the receiving end of what the Empire is doing. But I think that's just some of the cool things that are adding in, not just with the game, but also with Rogue One, just kind of adding more to the lore of Star Wars.
Exactly.
Which is, I get kind of nerdy. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
guys.
no, it's good.
I'm sorry.
It's good.
A little bit more on Scarif and what we're going to expect. Game modes. what are the game modes that we're going to be able to play
Sure.
for the Scarif DLC?
Sure. So we've got Infiltration, which we talked about.
Playing right
yeah,
now.
and we're playing it right now. We've got Fighter Squadron, which we just saw about 5-10 minutes ago. We've also got Blast, which we played earlier on in the stream.
Some TDM.
Yeah, exactly. Some good old TDM. We've got everyone's favorite Walker Assault.
Walker Assault.
And I don't think we played it yet today, but Turning Point.
Turning Point. Now, I think Robbie and Ryan might actually be checking
there
out
you
some
go.
Turning Point.
There you go.
So I think
It's a fun one.
Yeah, that one is actually I think my favorite game. Well, Walker Assault's my favorite, but I think Turning Point is really cool. I really like the different sections. You know, being able to kind of progress through the map. You're not just all over the place. You're kind of being kind of like guided through section by section, which is really fun.
No, it's a good one. It's a good one. It's one of the ones that I actually really enjoy, and I'm glad that we added it really quickly after launch, give people an extra game mode to kind of get excited about.
For sure.
Oh, geez, where did he come from?
I don't know. He was kind of just there. I'm going to bring out my sniper rifle.
Yeah.
Oh, but then there was somebody else. Where did these guys come from? Dice, please. Dice, please.
Maybe you should pay attention, Tim.
Tim, please. Tim, please.
Also, you missed it. There's a sneak peek. Oh, can you see it? No, you can't see it.
What?
So we have a little fun thing that happens on the kind of tramway.
Okay.
If you look off, go forward and off to your left.
So
that thing right there. Oh, you got shot. That's what that's my fault. But we have a little tram that runs along it.
Oh, so what is that? It's just a tram from the Citadel for the people that want to go vacation out on the beach?
Well, I mean vacation, doing work,
right,
same thing.
Okay. All right, cool.
Oh, look at that imploder.
So they do anything, or are they literally just a set piece?
No, it's a set piece.
Okay.
But it's a cool little fun thing to see. It's a living world, right? There's things going on that are still very in fiction.
And that was always something that I really thought was neat, was that whole Battle Beyond thing that you guys really introduced with Battlefront. Is that there's more than just what's happening in front of you with the battle. There's things happening in the background.
Yeah.
That's kind of just keeping the whole world, like you said, alive.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is really cool.
Exactly.
So some other questions. Will free look in the cockpits ever be a thing?
Not for us.
Not for you.
But going to the VR experience, without spoiling too much of those guys, you'll be able to do that in the VR mission.
Cool.
At least in an X-Wing.
Cool.
And I think that stuff is super immersive.
Yes.
That's one great experience, is to get the VR headset on and just look there and play around with it.
Yeah. So
it's cool.
Guys,
hopefully you do that.
I think I will. Hopefully I will.
Good.
I will take full advantage of the VR experience. But guys, we are answering questions from the chat. So if at any time you have questions for Paul, for myself, Sledgehammer70, who's the community manager for Star Wars Battlefront, he's hanging out in the chat right now.
He is.
So do type in chat at Sledgehammer70. You can tweet at Sledgehammer70. You can tweet at us. Let us know any questions you have for us in regards to Star Wars Battlefront updates that's coming out with this patch, the Rogue One Scarif DLC.
Yep.
Anything that we just really haven't really touched on, please ask in chat. We are here for you guys to show as much as we possibly can with this amazing DLC that's coming out in just a couple days, December 6th.
December 6th.
For season pass holders. And then you said 2
weeks later,
post
so the 20th. Yep.
Release for everybody else.
Yep. Absolutely. One question that I just saw come up on the chat from that Sledge grabbed for us was: did we ever consider adding traits to the bodyguards?
Okay.
That's something that is an interesting thought. We've never really considered it. I think it was always just we wanted to have them be slightly stronger, but not give them make them too OP, because then we kind of create 3 tiers of characters.
Right.
I mean, we've kind of done that in the hero mechanic, simply that they have more health. We've kind of offset that by limiting what they can carry. It's just not something that, I mean, maybe that's something that we could think about longer term, but I don't have a good answer for that one. I'd have to sit there and talk with the team and figure out how do we want to approach this.
Yeah. So another thing that's being added with the DLC are some new blasters. So we talked about this at the beginning of the stream. Let's talk about this again.
Sure.
So we got the DT-29.
Yep. DT-29 is blaster pistol.
Blaster pistol.
Unique is it has no overheat, but it's almost like those old weapons.
It's like a Western. It's like a Western.
Yeah,
it's like draw.
Exactly. So you can see it here. Yeah, you got your 6-shot. I love the little revolver style thing.
Yeah, the UI animation's great.
Yeah.
Really good feedback. But like you said, it has no overheat, but it has a cartridge reload, which is very unique to the Battlefront universe.
Exactly. One of a kind.
Yeah.
That I know of.
But it is cool. Like we said, it's kind of like a Western feel. And now this is Krennic's weapon.
This is Krennic's weapon.
So this is his weapon. Very elegant, very old school.
Very powerful.
Very powerful. Yeah. But here's the trade-off: no overheat. so you don't have the heat management. You only get what, 6 shots?
6 shots.
6 shots.
Long
and then
reload time.
The reload time is really painful. Which which I've noticed is that when you get into these skirmishes with multiple assailants. I'm using big words with this. Wow, I'm really impressed. That was great. So these multiple enemies, you're really in a pickle.
Yeah.
You either have to have an amazing shot, or you have to kind of back away and kind of really pick your fights. Now, right there is something that's new to Rogue One DLC that I just got killed by, which is the U-wing gunship.
Yeah.
So how does that work?
So if you're on the Rebel side and you pick up the U-wing power-up that's floating around the battlefield, you'll get up there. You'll be put in the gunner seat. You're able to just bombard people on the ground.
Right.
Really providing cover for players, and really letting you live out a great kind of just fun look at it. Oh boy, did you get it?
No, I missed it.
Oh, no, I hit him. You hit him.
I got him.
Just a fun fantasy of just raining death from above, as it were.
Yeah.
And it's really a great support option.
Now it has a time period. It has a certain amount of time that it can live on the field. What is that?
You get a little bit of added time every time you kill somebody.
So kind of very similar to being in like an AT-AT.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Right. But there is we don't want to let you be in there indefinitely.
Right.
Then it's a little bit overpowered.
So, so the way that this last part works for Infiltration, the rebels take the plans to the U-wing, and as soon as they hit the U-wing, game's done.
Yep.
Flies away.
Yep. Exactly.
Awesome.
And they try to get out of there.
Now, going back to just some of the pickups that you can find on the map, you got the U-wing gunship. Now, for the Empire, what do the Imperial soldiers get?
They get that TIE Striker pickup.
Okay.
So they get the ability to call in a TIE Striker who will swoop down, make 2 passes, and try to do strafing runs on a bunch of folks that are whatever in that area.
Right.
Really trying to help lay down cover fire, but also really just trying to rack up kills. Like if you get people cluster up around a point and you fire that thing off, watch the points come rolling in.
And it works out really, really well when you're trying, like you said, you're trying to hold a point down, or you're trying to push them back a little bit. Just kind of just clears them up a little bit, and
exactly.
Boom, there you go. It's cool. I really, really like it.
One of the things I should mention about those things is they're unique to Rogue One, the Rogue One content.
Right. So we're not going to get these like in Hoth.
No, exactly. Like those things aren't really in play at that point in time, right? So there's a little bit of contextuality there.
And what's really cool is it kind of adds more value to the DLC. It's really showing like, hey, these are some really cool experiences you're only going to get in.
Exactly.
In Rogue One Scarif.
Exactly.
So we're back. We're playing Operation. We're going to be on the Rebel side this time, and so my job is to help the U-wing get through the shield gate.
That's right.
So this is the only way that the Rebels can get onto the planet Scarif is through the shield gate. So we've got a U-wing that's being piloted by another teammate over here.
Lost one of your Corellian Corvettes.
We've got some Corellian Corvettes over here that are kind of adding some cover. It's just really cool. Like there's so much going on. We got these Star Destroyers that are kind of just shooting off into the distance at other ships. So the Corellian Corvette that just blew up in front of me, is it actually there destroying players? Is it kind of just being added kind of to build?
It's more
the scene.
Yeah, it's helping build the scene, but it's also there as mobile cover for the guys running the U-wing.
Okay.
Help you try to get through some of this area, that gap between the there you go.
There we go. Here's the
between all the I can't think of space junk. I couldn't think of
space junk, debris.
But between them and the Star Destroyers, kind of give you some added cover.
So as a U-wing pilot, what are some tactics that I should implement right now?
Woo,
what is?
Stick with your team.
Okay, stick with
your team.
All right.
Or at least hopefully that they stick near you.
Yeah.
Speed boost is valuable, but remember, maybe that's more of a get out of danger than it is. Let me just try to surge ahead and get past everybody, because X-wings can't keep up with you, right? Then you'll be on your own.
Yeah.
And then it's challenging. But you got some other defensive abilities in there, like the shield, the radar jammer. Hopefully, get you through some of those tough times.
So maybe like flying under the Star Destroyer a little bit.
Exactly.
These guys are really nimble.
Use cover.
They fly. It's a really cool experience. Like this is very different from other ships that are in Star Wars Battlefront.
And like we said, it packs a punch, but you're not there to fight. You're there to try to get to that shield gate.
Yeah, most definitely. So if a U-wing does get destroyed, it's not the end of the game. You will actually we just got to the end.
There you go.
But if I was to get it destroyed, more U-wings would then spawn in, and so it's just kind of encouraging the team to really finish this.
Exactly.
section.
We ramp up the kind of the pressure from the rebels,
right?
So that they really get through that first phase.
Right.
We want to get people down to the planet. We want to have them go through the entire experience.
Yeah, because you don't want to just you want to say, hey, here's all the stuff, but you never get to see it.
Yeah, exactly.
That would suck.
Yeah.
That would not be fun. Going back to some of the other weapons that are available in the
you
DLC.
go to your favorite?
We got the A180, which is my favorite weapon. This is a very versatile weapon. It's very unique. I think of it as the Swiss Army knife of Star Wars Battlefront. So let's talk a little bit about the attributes of this weapon, what it can do.
So absolutely. Oh, do you want to grab your gunship
really
first?
want to pick it up. We were just talking about the weapon.
Okay, so sure. We'll try to go through it quick.
Okay.
So the unique thing that we mentioned earlier on is you replace your star card hand.
Right.
But you gain in that versatility. You get the sniper rifle attachment, which you have right now.
Yep.
You can switch to a blaster rifle, which gives you unlimited firing for a few seconds. Look at him go. Just look at him go.
Yeah, no heat.
And then the last one you have is the ion mode, which we give to you, and that's again more of the anti-vehicle shot.
Cool. All right, so now I really want to play with this. This is the U-Wing gunship. So now we're spawning up in the U-Wing, and it's going to circle around the objective. So
light them up, Timmy.
So now we're arming the explosives on these cargo ships, and what this is great for is just being able to lay down cover, keep these in play until the cargo ship explodes.
Exactly.
And it has a significant amount of splash damage.
It really does.
As well. So you don't have to be bam, 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 bam.
Look at that.
Double kill.
As you
Double
said.
kill.
So while you're kind of circling there, just raining death down, a few more questions off the chat are a new rank increase. Absolutely.
Okay.
We'll get to rank 100.
Nice.
That's where we talked about that shore trooper captain earlier. That's the way you earn that. I think people had a question around. I'm just going to kind of rapid fire these, so don't mind me. One of them was nerfing secondary fire on some of the weapons.
I just got shut out of the U-Wing gunship, so that can happen.
Well played by that guy.
If you have some of those like crazy sniper guys, there's some really good snipers in Star Wars Battlefront. You can actually get shot out.
Yeah. But to kind of finish that thought, we haven't nerfed secondary fire to anything that I can recall. We have patch notes out there. I don't remember every detail.
It's gotta be hard.
It is, yeah. Geez, there's millions of stuff that we changed, and it's hard keeping it all straight. Especially because that's more on the designers. They're the ones going through this stuff, and they know it intimately.
Yeah.
But nothing that overtly comes to mind right now. People are asking about updates to private match. Nope, we haven't changed anything. I mean, obviously, if you're a DLC owner, you'll get the access to these new levels in private match, but no other changes there. We've touched on a bunch of these other questions that Matt has up, but the big one in there is having DLC game modes and vanilla game modes, vanilla or base game game modes, ever be in one big playlist. Unfortunately, that's a challenge in terms of player counts.
Yeah.
Not everybody has season pass.
Right.
If we were to make those things, we might limit the audience that can actually get in there and play.
Sure.
And sometimes
you don't want to do that. You want to create those separations.
Yeah. I mean, we already have enough separations. Adding a further one just dilutes it even more.
Sure.
But hey, like we said, we consider all these options. They're things that we think about for the future.
Yeah.
We're very aware that this is a problem for some people.
Sure.
And we ultimately would prefer to not segment our audience. So we're thinking of ways. That's a nice shot. We're thinking of ways to really improve that experience for the future.
Nice. Awesome.
Yeah.
Another question from the chat. Do Rebels get any new skins this DLC?
Yeah, that was the rank 100 unlock, the Short Trooper Captain.
Let's take a quick look. Can I edit?
No, you're
already
Rebel.
in there,
Sorry,
so we
you're
can't.
Rebel. Yeah.
But do the Rebels get any new skins? The Imperial forces get.
Sorry, the Rebels.
The Short Troopers.
You're right.
Now, do the Rebels get any?
You're right. I
cool?
misread that. You're right.
It's okay. It's all right. You've been doing great.
Yeah. Up until now. Now it's just downhill. No, they do not. Unfortunately,
okay.
no.
All right, so it's just the Imperial forces, the Short Trooper and the Short Trooper Captain. Are the two new skins for this one. Damn, I love this gun, dude.
2 for 2.
I love this gun.
Uh-oh. The TIE
so
Striker.
We gotta watch out. Where's that TIE Striker coming from? Gotta watch out. All right, so we're having a really hard time putting these explosives on the cargo ship. They're putting up a great. So there's a Short Trooper right there. That's the new Short Trooper. So no new heads or anything that are going to be added?
No, not with this one, unfortunately. No. We spent a lot of time on getting the atmosphere right. That was where most of our efforts.
And that's gonna be hard. You want to make sure that everything is perfect because like you said before, people are going to go in, they're going to play this before the movie comes out, and then they're going to go in and they're going to see the movie, and I'm sure you're going to have, me myself included, I'm going to go, wow, I saw that in Star Wars Battlefront. So you want to make sure like that is perfect.
Yeah.
Like that experience is amazing for the user. So this is
attention to detail.
Now is this a new skin?
This is the new Rebel skin.
This
is by default.
This is the default, just the Rebel skin they wear while they're on.
While they're on Scarif.
While they're on Scarif. Nice. So only on Scarif.
Yep.
Okay.
So you can see kind of maybe a little bit nonsensically. It's a very heavy-looking jacket on what looks to be a very warm planet.
Yeah. What's up with that?
Yeah, I don't make the rules sometimes.
Heat stroke anyone? Like,
yeah,
no one really thinks about that.
Yeah.
They didn't think about the air speeders, being able to adapt to the cold or anything. These rebels, they don't really think. They're
they're a hodgepodge group that's trying to take down a tyrannical government.
I don't know. Farmers with pitchforks.
Exactly.
Oh man. Just real quick, let's touch on game modes that are coming along with Scarif. It's not just going to be Infiltration.
Correct.
We're going to be playing other game modes as well.
Yep. So we've got 5 game modes across 4 different maps, 3 of which are ground maps. One is the space map. So we've got Fighter Squadron next to Infiltration. We've got Blast. We've got Turning Point, and then again, people have been asking for it for quite some time, ever since Bespin, the return of Walker Assault in one of the DLCs.
Yep.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
Freaking tastic.
We hope so.
I love this droid. Just sprays me
He's
with
handy.
heals.
With his healing love.
His heals.
Oh, and it came in handy.
I really hope there was a Wilhelm scream right there. Like I heard it in my head.
In your head.
I was like, ah! I could hear it. So Paul, this has been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
This has been actually we've interacted before.
Yeah.
We've talked here and there. We've seen each other at events.
Yeah,
We've never really gotten to do anything.
No, not really.
Before.
This is the first time.
A lot of fun.
Yeah, it was.
So,
it was good.
Cool.
Thank you.
And so no, thank you.
Do what I can.
It's been great. So guys, we've got something else really really cool coming for you guys. We've got the PlayStation.
Yeah.
Hold on. We have to make sure we say this
Sure.
correctly.
Let's see if you can remember it.
It is the Star Wars Battlefront. No, I can't do it.
Oh boy. Let's see if I can remember it. Hold on. The EA Star Wars Battlefront X-Wing VR mission.
I think you forgot a part. You forgot Rogue One.
I did.
You forgot Rogue One.
It was easy when I could read it.
Star Wars Battlefront Rogue One PlayStation VR experience mission.
Oh boy. VR mission.
VR mission, right? No, I can't do it. We can't do it.
No, we can't do it.
It's.
But you know who can?
Who can?
Is Kieran, who will be on next.
Who's going to be coming up?
Yep.
He's going to be walking us through. He's from Criterion.
Yes, he is.
He's from Criterion, and he's going to be walking us through the PlayStation VR experience for Star Wars Battlefront. It's the Rogue One mission. I've gotten to see it. I've gotten to play with it a little bit. It is really, really cool.
Yeah.
It is a really, really neat thing to experience. It really gets to put you into the cockpit of an X-Wing and see what it's like. I think that's one of the really cool things with Star Wars and what it creates are these memories and these fantasies that you want to live out. Like, you want to get when you're a kid and you're pedaling on your bike really fast. You think of yourself as Luke Skywalker in the forest of Endor, right? Chasing those stormtroopers. What this does is it really creates that experience where you get to live out that fantasy of being in that cockpit for the X-Wing. So that's just really, really exciting. I'm so glad we get to show that to you guys on the stream. And so thank you guys so much for asking all the questions for Rogue One Scarif. Again, that comes out December 6th.
December 6th.
For season pass holders, and then 2 weeks later for everyone else. So if you haven't picked up your season pass yet,
now's a good time.
Now's a great time to get to play Rogue One Scarif.
Absolutely.
So, Paul, real quickly, again, where can people get in touch with you if they want to just hang out with you? They want to.
Well, if they want to hang out with me, you have to come to Sweden. That's a long way.
If they want to play games with you on the Xbox One, and they will follow you on Twitter, where can they go?
Sure. On Twitter, I'm at the Vestal Viking. On Xbox One, I'm also the Vestal Viking. But I'm also looking at our forums.
Awesome.
We check Reddit. We check our Twitter accounts. But I'd say mainly we try to correlate things and get a lot of stuff pulled up in the forums.
Nice.
But there's multiple ways to get in contact with us. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Cool.
Excellent.
Awesome, Paul. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Tim.
It's always a pleasure.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, and guys, again, I hope you really enjoyed this awesome look, this in-depth look at Rogue One Scarif, the brand new DLC coming to Star Wars Battlefront. We are now going to take a look at the VR mission, the Rogue One mission for Battlefront that is also in the update.
It's also in the update.
This coming Tuesday. So there's a lot of things. It's free. It's free. So we're going to be taking a look at that in just a minute.
Yeah.
Stay tuned.
Cool.
Tim, aka Darkness429, joined by Kieran from Criterion.
How you doing?
Welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for being here. So we're going to be taking a look at a brand new thing coming to PlayStation, to the Star Wars Battlefront universe, and what is that?
So we're looking at the Star Wars Rogue One Battlefront.
I'm getting it wrong. I was hoping you were going to do it right. All right.
Let's do it. Battlefront Rogue One X-Wing VR mission.
Bam. See, I couldn't do it right. Paul couldn't do it right. But Kieran walked in like a boss and showed us how it was done. So what is this?
So this is a mission for Battlefront that you can download for free. So anyone who's got a copy of Battlefront and a PlayStation VR headset,
which is right here,
can download that from the store and can experience the fantasy of being an X-Wing pilot.
Cool. Awesome. So at Criterion, what is it you guys do mainly? Like what is Criterion, and especially what is your role there?
So my role is art director, so I'm responsible for everything that you see on the scene. So
cool.
Hopefully the game looks good, and you'll and then I will have done a good job.
Awesome.
But at Criterion, we're really passionate about kind of spectacular vehicle games. That's always been our kind of our core fantasies that we wanted to fulfill for people. So we worked on the Burnout games, Need for Speed games, and actually on Battlefront we did the speeder bike mission.
Oh, awesome! Which is like one of my favorite missions.
Thank you very much.
Fantastic.
We worked very hard on that. But that kind of spectacular vehicle kind of action is the stuff that we really love.
Awesome.
And also we've got a lot of VR enthusiasts in the office. Like kind of when that was kicking off, we had a bunch of people like on the Kickstarters for all the different things. So this mission is very much the expression of us, our love for VR and our love for kind of vehicle experiences. Like married in a perfect marriage.
And that's perfect because I mean you got this gigantic vehicle that flies in space, the X-Wing, and you're throwing it into this VR experience with the PlayStation VR headset.
Yeah.
So what is it like to work with the PlayStation VR?
Fantastic, actually, really amazing. So Sony have been fantastic in kind of giving us a bunch of learnings in VR. But when we first started setting up with them, they also got a bunch of headsets to us really quickly.
Awesome.
And these things are just amazing.
Yeah,
they're like unbelievably comfortable considering it's their first kind of touch into the VR.
Sure.
We're hugely impressed. They're really light as well. And we had a bunch in the office. We actually had our build running on it the same day that they had it in the office, which is kind of insane for a new bit of hardware. Usually it takes a little time.
So, I mean, like you guys at Criterion, you've developed a bunch of games. What is it like developing for something with VR where you have to work within not just a space that's happening in front of you, but you're working with a space that's everywhere, that a player can interact with at all times?
Yeah, that's pretty hard.
Yeah, that's got to be crazy.
Yeah, I mean, luckily we'd already done a whole bunch of experimentation in it, so we had a pretty good idea of what worked and what didn't work. But it's a totally new medium. Like what worked before and all the kind of cinematic language, gameplay language, and audio stuff that we used to use before, we had to kind of rewrite that all because a whole bunch of it just doesn't work. But what you get is this massively immersive experience. So the power of VR is so compelling that we wanted to put that work in, and we were all hugely passionate. This is a real passion project for the studio.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so I'm going to we're going to stop chatting about what the mission is. We're actually going to show it to you guys.
I think this is the first time we've shown some missions.
Yeah, which is nuts.
Yeah,
like, we actually get to show this to you guys live on Twitch for the first time. The Star Wars, let me make sure I say this right, the Star Wars Battlefront Rogue One X-Wing VR mission here on Twitch, which is really cool. So we're going to throw this on, and I'm going to look goofy for you guys.
Do you remember how to use this? You had a go on it yesterday.
Yeah. So I've got the ship, which kind of helps with the focus.
Yeah.
And this helps with the headband in the back, correct?
I can.
Yeah, no, go for it. All right.
Okay,
throw it on.
Ready?
Fantastic. Okay.
So, that on there.
Okay, cool.
Look about right.
Yeah, no, it's great.
I'm just going to turn the little thing on the back to kind of lock it.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Look sharp.
Yeah. All right. So the one thing with VR is that I can't see
It's all right. It's all right.
So,
I'll
you can help me out. Okay, cool.
you probably don't want actually. Yeah. There you go.
So there we go. Okay, cool. So we're not going to do it with headphones on.
They can hear the audio, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
good.
they can hear the audio. So let's get started. Everything good behind me? Are we good there? Thumbs up. We good to go? Let's do it. All right. There we go.
All right.
Okay.
So
Cool.
when you sit comfortably, just hold options, and that will start the mission.
Okay. Oops, wrong one. Oops, I hit the wrong button. Oh, good job. Ruined. All right, have to get out of here.
Yeah.
Got it. Fixed it. All right. All right. And there it is. And there that is. There is the AT-AT walking over. I've seen this multiple times. I got to see this at Gamescom when you guys were doing some BCD stuff, some behind closed doors.
Yeah.
And the first time I saw that, I was blown away. And again, I am blown away by just the absolute scale of what I'm seeing. Like, I mean, this is what it would look like if I was standing and looking at an AT-AT walking overhead.
Yeah, it never fails to blow me away. Even like after developing it and playing it a million times, still just seeing up there and seeing the scale and size of that thing, especially with the audio, it's just amazing.
So now we're going to go into this next scene, which kind of gets us familiar with how the VR works. Kind of just really just eases you into it. Instead of just kind of throwing you into the experience, it's going to kind of hold my hand and let me just kind of get familiarized with. I don't know how much you guys can really see on the screen, but right now I've got this little droid in front of me, and I can look around, and this is what it feels like. I'm right there. It's crazy.
Actually, if you go back out there, you can actually go all the way around the X-Wing. We really wanted to kind of get you familiar with the X-Wing. I mean, this is your X-Wing, right?
Yes.
So in the same way, we wanted to, really kind of play up that fantasy of being an X-Wing pilot, and the first part of that is you've got your own X-Wing. So, take a look at that, see where it's dinged up, see what kind of condition everything's in.
And we're looking at the X-Wing, but even just looking on this platform that I'm standing on, like, there's just so much detail. You guys have just really worked a lot of detail into the game, which is wild. And even just, I'm still getting used to using VR and being able to move my head forward and back, and how this all interacts with each other is just a crazy experience.
Yeah, that's the power of Frostbite right there, all that detail. We had a bunch of people from a bunch of different studios all collaborate to make the best rendering pipeline we could for virtual reality, and I really think we've got a powerhouse in Frostbite now for virtual reality.
So I don't know if I can do this, but the first time I tried this at Gamescom, I did this. I was able to look over. That's so cool, is being able to actually look over, and it's not just... In some games, you have a very flat surface. You just have this 2D thing, but there's so much depth in this experience, which is just so crazy.
That sense of depth is something that VR, it's just amazing in VR because it's a proper ocular vision. You've got different render for each eye. You have that sense of depth you have from ocular vision.
Right.
So it makes it feel like the fantasy world is realized right in front of you. It really feels like, I'm sure you can see it right now. It feels like you can actually touch it, right?
Yeah, a couple of times I've wanted to, because my brain is like, it's there, and I kind of get this out of body experience because I look down, I'm like, where did my feet go? Because they're not there, and it's so odd. It's a very, very odd and exciting experience. So now I'm standing on top of this platform. I'm looking into the cockpit of the X-Wing. I'm looking to the nose. I'm looking to the rear of the X-Wing. Just the overall depth and detail is just absolutely amazing. Even looking at the leather of the seat, it's worn.
Yeah,
which is crazy. It looks like someone has been sitting in that seat for a long time. There's even just detail on where your legs would go.
Yeah, jump in,
which is crazy. So let's jump on into our X-Wing, and now we're in the cockpit is sealed, and now I have a bunch of buttons that are in front of me, which is cool. So now it's telling me to press this button and look there. Okay, cool. Now I can push these other buttons. That actually activated that, which is cool. Now, that's so cool. There's just I can interact with all of this, which is wild. But let's jump into the mission. Let's make sure that my flight. Yes. Okay. Great. Let's do this.
Got that.
What? All right. Now, what am I?
So you can't hear at the moment.
Oh, okay, so there's stuff going on.
There's a little bit of narrative
there. Okay, I thought
there.
someone turned out the lights.
But we can talk a little bit about those buttons. So,
yes, please.
There's a whole bunch of interactivity within the cockpit.
Now we're in the cockpit. We're gonna get some VO that's happening. But while that's happening, can I show what you can do with this one? Can I do it?
Check out the yellow button. Yeah, check that one out.
All right, guys, check that out. Use the Force, Luke.
Use your targeting computer. That's what it's there for.
Something's wrong. He turned off his targeting computer. So and this is wild. And I'm looking up, and for you guys at home, you're looking at me being goofy. But what I'm seeing is this Curlian Corvette that has just flown over and is hanging there in this pattern, and we're flying under it. And this is so cool, and just getting to look around, and it's not the same experience you get when you're flying in Battlefront. Like you can fly in first person, but it's a whole nother level, which is crazy.
Yeah, I mean,
so much fun.
We took the controls of Battlefront, and we really want to make it feel familiar, so you can just jump in. If you played a lot of Battlefront, you'll be able to pilot your X-Wing really skillfully. But because it's in VR and you've got a full 360 environment and you've got that sense of movement, it's just, unbelievably more immersive.
Look who's behind me.
Yeah. Lutu.
Yeah, he's hanging out. So that's Blue 2, right?
Lutu.
Lutu.
Yeah,
that was weird. I was like, he's red, not blue. Yeah. And so now we've got some medical ships hanging out. We've got some, we got some other X-Wings to our left. We got some Y-Wings over there. And so right now, I know this is really playing into the movie that's coming out. Rogue One's coming out on December 16th. Yeah. So without giving too much away, can we really set the scene for what's happening and why we're going out?
And the VR will kind of explain the story, what's in the game. Mm-hmm. But when it comes to the actual movie time, we can't talk too much about it until the movie comes out.
All right.
We can say we got to work with Alan Tudyk, actually, the original voice of K2SO. Mm-hmm. And we had a really, really close relationship with Lucas on making this an authentic Star Wars experience. In fact, it's actually become canon. So the story that kind of folds out in this is
really
part of the Star Wars canon now. Yeah.
Now that's got to be really cool that you guys have created Star Wars history.
So cool.
Something that will forever live within the Star Wars universe, which is that's neat. That is really cool.
If you were to tell 6-year-old me I was going to do that when I was older, he would have not believed me in any way.
In touching on that, were you a big Star Wars fan when you were growing up?
Yeah.
Awesome. Very cool.
That's be a long story for this, but my uncle was hugely into Star Wars.
Yeah.
And he basically made me watch all the original versions before they got any redones or anything like that.
That's how I started out. I got to see the remastered, and then later on I got to see the originals. Yeah. But that's how it was for me. My uncle was a big Star Wars fan and introduced me to the Star Wars universe, and it's awesome. It's so cool to be sitting in a cockpit. This gives you the ability, like I said before, to really live out that fantasy. It's so cool.
How cool is that?
It is so wild. Unfortunately, we haven't gotten the technology yet where you actually get that real feedback. But it is nuts. All right, so we got to defend this U-wing that's here. We got a bunch of. We got a bunch of enemies here. We got a bunch of TIE fighters that are flying around. Now, again, this is one of just the really cool things is that you're using the same mechanics in Star Wars Battlefront in this as well. So if you're familiar with flying in Battlefront, you're going to do just fine in this VR mission as well. All right, so I have to activate my shields. Now, what's so cool is being able to track your targets as you're moving around. But I'm not getting that sense of motion sickness. It's not really making me looking up as I'm pulling through this turn, trying to find my target. You don't get really that motion sick that people really talk about when they use VR. And I think that's something that you guys have worked really, really hard on at Criterion to make sure that the user can put this on and not get motion sick.
Yeah, we designed it very much with comfort in mind. So not only does it kind of bring you into the action slowly so that you get used to VR, because it's going to be a lot of people's first VR experience.
Sure.
But also the amount of kind of stuff and technical little bits we did, so it feels really, really comfortable in there. Is just, it would astound you. We'll do a bunch of talks about it for technical people at some point.
But I think that it really is neat that, for people that might not be able to stomach some of the other VR experiences that are out there, you guys have worked really, really hard to make sure that anyone can really put this on and enjoy this experience. And it's so cool being able to just turn my head and see that I have a couple guys on my tail. I have never gotten to experience anything like this before, and it is just so cool.
Yeah, tracking your targets like that is that's what dogfighting is all about.
Yeah, exactly.
And only really VR can give you that full 360 kind of view to do that properly.
Yeah, I'm sure I look really goofy, but guys, it looks so cool. Now, do you? I'm probably asking too much, but Are we going to see anything else coming out of Star Wars VR? Are we going to see more missions maybe or anything?
We're not announcing anything at the moment.
Okay.
But obviously we'd love to do extra stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, this was a huge passion project for the studio, and everyone really, really enjoyed development on it.
Awesome. I mean, I would love to be in the TIE Fighter next if we could make that happen, because I mean, like that was really cool. I mean, when I was a kid, getting to play X-wing versus TIE Fighters, those games that were out, early mid '90s, those are really cool. And again, it's those fantasies that people have.
TIE Fighter
cool.
would be really cool.
Yeah, I mean, like the TIE Fighter cockpit's very unique. Oh my, okay, all right. Yeah, that is a gigantic Star Destroyer. Now the Star Destroyers, I mean, they look big in Battlefront. That was gigantic. That thing is huge. So that was the demo. So you guys don't get to see the entire thing. We want to make sure that you guys get to experience that for yourself. But that was awesome.
Welcome back to reality.
I'm sorry. Now it's
I'm
weird.
so sorry.
It's weird though, because now I kind of have to reset my eyes, if you will. But that's really neat. That was really, really cool.
Thank you, dude.
Now, I mean, I would love maybe I don't know if we have any questions in the chat. When can people pick this up? When can they start playing the VR mission?
So it's coming out at the same time as the Scarif one, 6th of December, I believe. So if you've got a PlayStation VR and you've got a copy of Battlefront, you can just download it for free from the store and strap your pilot wings in.
Put your wings on and throw your awesome VR heads. I'm gonna try to take this home. I don't know if the guards are gonna tackle me, but I'm gonna try to make sure this goes home with me. So you stay right there. But thank you so much for hanging out with me, and thanks for letting me have that experience, because like this is so awesome.
Thanks for coming on, and I really hope everyone that plays it feels the same and really appreciates that.
I'd love to hear about people's experiences with this, because I'm sure everyone's gonna have like their own unique experience when it comes to this and how they play it and whatnot.
Yeah.
So very cool, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out. Thanks for checking out not only the Rogue One Scarif DLC, but also the Rogue One X-Wing VR mission coming to Star Wars Battlefront on December the 6th, which is this Tuesday. And that's going to be the free update. The Rogue One Scarif DLC comes out Tuesday for season pass holders, and then 2 weeks later for everyone else. So guys, again, thank you so much for hanging out. Thank you for being here. Thank you guys for being here. And coming up next will be Robbie and Ryan from Star Wars HQ. So make sure to head on over to youtube.com/Star Wars HQ to check them out. Make sure to also follow EA Star Wars on Twitter for all of Star Wars updates. And we'll see you guys next time. Take care.